looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
Oh, what? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the grads of life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
A little rookie mistake. It was a hit of the wrong button, that's all.
You came back from vacation last week.
Is what it is. I'm still not back mentally, though. That's the thing. But we are here with you here on what is today? Wednesday. I was about to say Tuesday. It is technically the second. But, it's a Wednesday. It is the Justin Kidder Show with Kev Nash. Excited to be hanging out with you here on a Wednesday. We got a lot to get into today. I'm excited. We got a little fill in the blank coming up. We're going to talk a little Reds baseball. The Cincinnati Reds are one of the hottest teams in baseball, and I don't know how to feel about that. We talked about this yesterday. I think that right now, we're making a mistake, Kev, of like usually you go based off of what have you done for me lately. Reds fans aren't playing by those rules. The first 25 games of the season, the Reds were 3-22. The last 24 games, the Reds are 14-9, but we're still viewing them based on what they did the first 25 games. You know what I mean? Like every sport, we always go off of how our team's playing lately. Reds fans, they're not being very fair. They're being a little dirty. They're being a little salty. They're being a little mean. They're not giving this team credit. I think we're at a point now where you win 14 of 24, you're 14-9 since that 3-22 start. I think we got to start being a little bit more damn excited about this Reds team because, well, for one, they don't have they're now the second worst team in baseball, not the worst team in baseball. So they're climbing that ladder.
Baby steps,
literally. So we'll talk about that coming up around the corner. We'll talk a little college baseball. Wright State, the best college baseball team in the state. And this is considered a down year for them too, by the way. And they're back in the NCAA tournament. Just I find that very interesting, but a down year for Wright State, but yet they win the conference tournament this past weekend. 24-0 was the championship game, by the way. It was unbelievable.
You called that game, right?
Not called that, a PA for it, but yes,
okay.
I was there for all 7.5 hours of one game because the league doesn't have a damn run rule. The Big Ten has a run rule. SEC has a run rule. The Horizon League doesn't have a run rule. And,
no mercy in the Horizon League, baby.
It just means more. 24-0 was the final. But Alex Sogard, Wright State baseball coach, he's going to join us coming up here at 4:00, and we'll talk about the Raiders back in the NCAA tournament for the second straight season. They've won their conference tournament 5 of their last 7 seasons. But we'll do a little fill in the blank to open things up here this afternoon. A lot of interesting ones coming our way. Kev, and we'll open up with, well, the first one on deck. Fill in the blank, Kev. Deshaun Watson has to play blank games this season to justify the trade.
12. Got to play 12 games
to justify the trade.
Yeah, if we're doing that, you know how I feel about this trade, about justifying it. But if we're playing this, I want to say at least 12 games. And that's obviously without injuries because you can't predict injuries. So I'm not going to do that. But anything less than 12 games started for Deshaun Watson, trade, excluding injuries, is good. It's good for me. I'm cool with that because that means he's out there. It means he's playing. That means you have the capability of obviously winning 12 games. But if you got a guy like Deshaun Watson, he starts 12 games, you're probably going to end up winning about 8 of those games. So I'm going to go with 12 games started for Deshaun Watson. Makes the trade worth it.
If you're just tuning in, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Fill in the blank. By the way, head to Facebook. We are live on Facebook. It's the Justin Kinner Show on Facebook. Like, follow, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Fill in the blank with us. Fill in the blank in the comments section, and we will fill in the blank with your responses as well as give you ours. So fill in the blank. Deshaun Watson has to play blank games this season to justify the trade. People forget, not every move is made for this upcoming season. Not every draft pick is made for this upcoming season. For instance, the Pittsburgh Steelers drafted Kenny Pickett after getting Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky was got for this upcoming season. He wasn't the quarterback of the future. You drafted Kenny Pickett because that's your pick of the future. Now, the Browns didn't draft Deshaun Watson, but Deshaun Watson was not an addition to this team to go at it in 2022. Deshaun Watson is the long-term quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. So for me, the answer is 0. Deshaun Watson doesn't have to play in one single game this upcoming season to justify the trade, mainly because the Browns knew what they were getting themselves into. They knew they were trading for a guy that was going to have a lot of legal noise surrounding him. They traded for him knowing there's a chance he could be suspended for the entire season. I think that, let's say that the NFL comes down hard and says, all right, Deshaun, you are suspended for the entire season. There will be disappointment because, yes, there's no Deshaun Watson, but I don't think that the Browns are going to sit back and say, I knew we shouldn't have done this. They knew that this was going to be a possibility. Whether he misses a good chunk of all of this season or a good chunk of all of next season, he's going to miss time coming up. Right. So if he plays all 17 games this season, Kev, and then is suspended all of 23, are you saying it's still that the trade still wasn't worth it? I guess to me, Deshaun Watson is the quarterback of the Browns, not just for 22, but 23, 24, 25, and possibly beyond that. So I think that's why I think people are making too much of the legal noise that's going on now. And by the way, if everything that is being thrown his way is true, he's a disgusting human being. Forget it. I'm done with the disclaimers. We know this. At this point, it's 0 for me because, like I said, he was not added to this roster just for this upcoming season, Kev. He's added to this roster because the Browns needed a franchise quarterback, and for the first time since coming back to Cleveland, although they thought they had it in Baker, they now officially have one. So that's why I say 0.
So they're not in a win-now situation?
No, they're in a win-now situation, but it's not like this. I mean, they knew getting him that there's a chance he wasn't going to play this season. So that's why, I mean, like, it's not like they got him and they were just saying, hey, don't worry, he's going to play this season, and then ends up not playing. They knew there was a chance he could be suspended. That's why I just can't get down with saying that, if he misses more than you're saying 5 games, that it wasn't worth it. To me, I just think that even if he's all out all of this season, the trade's still worth it if he comes back. To me, it's just about results. At any point throughout this contract, if he brings them a Super Bowl, yes, it was worth it dealing with the noise up front, assuming that the noise gets settled and that there's not more to it than what we know now.
Well, I was taking your question literal. I'm with you. If he doesn't play at all this season or next season, as long as they win a Super Bowl during the length of his contract or during the time he's there, it's worth it if I'm a Browns fan. And for me, we talked about this when the trade initially went down. I still stand on it doesn't matter when they win the Super Bowl as long as they win it under Deshaun Watson's leadership and everything like that. But if they don't, then I think the trade was a bust. So I was just answering the question in a literal sense.
The literal sense is this coming up season. That's what I'm saying. This season doesn't matter. I mean, it matters, but it doesn't. If they win it all, it matters. But if he doesn't play this season, it doesn't matter because that was kind of the expectation. Is kind of how I view it. If you're just tuning in, fill in the blank. The first one, of course, was Deshaun Watson has to play blank games this season to justify the trade. Kev said at least 12. I said he doesn't have to play in any games this season to justify the trade. Even if he's suspended all season, you still got a franchise quarterback. He's back in 23, and the expectations are still the same moving forward. Win, baby, win, and you can't do that without a franchise quarterback. Up next, Major League Baseball. I talked about this yesterday, Kev. Fill in the blank. MLB's biggest issue is what? Pace of play? Is it lack of star power? Is it, I guess there's a laundry list here, but MLB's biggest issue is what?
They don't promote their players enough. Their best player, Ohtani, I didn't know Ohtani spoke English so well. He's never interviewed. Maybe that's a situation between him and his management or something like that. But their biggest player doesn't do interviews. That's a problem. I mean, dude plays both ways. He pitches, he bats. He needs to be doing interviews every single day. We need to see his face. We need to hear his voice. We need to know what this guy's about. We need to know what he's eating, drinking. We need to fall in love with him. You can't say the NBA, everybody knows exactly what LeBron is doing every single second of the day. And that's not just off of his Twitter. That's off the NBA's Twitter. Everybody knows exactly what's going on with Kevin Durant. Everybody knows what's going on with all the stars of the NFL and everything like that. And that's not just off of what they do personally. It's off of how the league promotes them. So I think that's their biggest flaw right there. Their best player is unknown to a lot of people that don't follow baseball on the everyday basis. Like I said, I didn't know that he spoke such well English until I think this was like 3 weeks ago where I saw him doing an interview and I was like, man, I've never seen him do an interview before. I mean, this dude is hitting like 30 home runs and then striking out like 20 dudes in a season. Like, that's crazy. That's Babe Ruth stuff. Like, that's great. We need to see that. And that needs to draw fans' interest because he's the only one doing it.
Yeah, and this goes back to, by the way, he does speak English. He doesn't speak it comfortably enough to where him and his agent feel comfortable to go in front of the camera.
Man, listen, he sound better than me.
But this is why I defended Stephen A. Smith a year ago. Stephen A. Smith got just destroyed last year because he said, how can you have a guy that doesn't speak English be the face of the league? He was basing that off of what Ohtani's representation was coming out saying, that he's not comfortable enough with his English to do regular media. So that's why Stephen A. Smith said that. So everything you just said, to be the face of the league, the fans need to have access to you. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a prime example. That's a guy, he doesn't speak, very well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he's out there and he's very charismatic and the fans absolutely love him and they gravitate towards him. So that's interesting you say that. But for me, fill in the blank, MLB's biggest issue is similar to what you're saying as far as the marketability is concerned, but it's scheduling. And I talked about this yesterday, that one of baseball's biggest issues is keep wasting everyone's time with pace of play and pitch clocks and all this other stuff. If the product is good, I want more of it.
Right.
If you have a good product, for instance, no one complains about the length of college football or NFL games. I'm the program director here at WING and we program a Buckeye game. And if it's a noon kickoff, we're on at 10:30 and we're not off until about 6 o'clock. I mean, that means that is 7.5 hours of Buckeye programming every Saturday. And you know what? We love Ohio State football. We don't say, oh my God, we want less Ohio State. We want more Ohio State football. So to me, Major League Baseball, what they're saying is rather than improve our product, we just want you to watch less of our crappy product instead of saying we want to give you more of our great product. That's the problem with baseball. And to me, it comes down to scheduling. The Reds, watching the Reds at Fenway last night was unbelievable. It was just unique. It was special. It's the first time the Reds had played at Fenway Park since 2013 or 2014. That's a 7-year gap.
Right.
Red Sox fans, I get it. That's a big baseball market over there. They probably don't give two rips about what's going on in Cincinnati, but if they saw the Reds on a more regular basis, they might gravitate towards more of the Reds players, and now the Reds become a little bit more popular in some of these other markets as well. That's a problem. I looked at around, Kev, so schedule. So fill in the blank. MLB's biggest flaw is their scheduling. The Reds hadn't played in Boston in 7 years. The Yankees have not played at the Reds since 2017. And before that, it was 2011. So Reds fans, the Yankees are one of the biggest, if not they're the face of Major League Baseball. They're one of a top 3 franchise in all of professional sports, not just baseball. And us Reds fans, we've only got to watch them twice in the last 10 years, 12 years. That's a problem.
7 years ago?
That's a problem.
My nephew just turned 7 2 weeks ago.
The Reds playing at the Red Sox was 7 years ago. Yeah, the Yankees haven't been to GABP since 17.
That's crazy. That's sad.
Yep.
That's sad, man. Another thing that you could throw in there is the simple fact that every team plays exactly the same. Like, there's no team that plays this way. Like, obviously, like we look at the NFL where, the Ravens are going with the ground and pound approach. You got other teams like the Cardinals going air raid. Like, everybody plays exactly the same. And that just gets boring, man. It gets boring when your team isn't winning. When your team isn't winning, it's boring. But if your team is winning and they're playing like everybody else, everything's great. But guess what, man? There's more than one way to skin a cat, man. Like, in baseball, like, okay, for instance, I grew up watching baseball, like, where dudes didn't have to have a good bat. they were all glove, like a Omar Vizquel, or even older than that, a dude like Ozzie Davis, like great shortstop dudes who could barely hit the ball. But guess what? They're making great plays in the outfield, left and right. They're turning double plays. Like that type of stuff is exciting. So imagine a dude like as small as Omar Vizquel trying to hit home runs. Billy Hamilton, if he was in the era in the early 90s or late 80s, he would have been a fantastic player. But guess what? He played in an era where, like, man, you got to swing for the fences and everything like that. Well, dudes don't bunt no more. Like, there's no advancing a runner unless somebody's on second or third. They'll throw a bunt down. But, like, leadoff dudes used to bunt. You know what I'm saying? Like different styles make fights. We hear that in boxing all the time. If everybody out here is playing exactly the same way, then you might as well just watch the best teams play that actually score runs and make things exciting. You might as well just watch those and not watch the team that is in your hometown or your favorite team, because if they're not winning, it's not going to be entertaining.
Yeah, and again, to watch the good teams don't even come to Cincinnati half the time. We don't get to watch that. I mean, we're going to get to watch the Red Sox coming up here in a few months at GABP. But yeah, that's why I said scheduling. Last thing on the scheduling aspect, Kev, the Yankees haven't played at Cincinnati since 2017. The time before that was 2011. That's a 5 and a 6 year gap between the last two appearances for the Yankees. And it could be another year or two before the Yankees come back to GABP. The Yankees have not played at Wrigley Field since 2017. And the Yankees, they played at Dodger Stadium last in 2019. Before that was 13. It's Los Angeles. And LA can't even watch the Yankees like that's come on now. There's a lot that they're trying to fix. That needs to be the number one thing that they address if they want to grow the game, especially with Shohei Ohtani at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on, fill in the blank. How about this one right here? A little college football action, Kev. Blank will win a national title before the other. Ryan Day or Lincoln Riley? Which coach will win a national title before the other? Which one will win their first national championship before the other?
Ryan Day and Ohio State Buckeyes will win the national championship this year.
Oh, this year?
Yes, Ohio State is winning the national championship this year. Shout out to all my homers out there. Buckeyes winning this year. That's all I got to say.
I think right now it's very tough, and it's interesting because I think Lincoln Riley now is on equal playing field with Ohio State. When you look at just the way that the recruiting is, I mean, within the snap of a finger, turned around at USC. I mean, they have a quarterback now, top 5 quarterback in college football, and arguably the best receiver in college football. Their O-line is stacked. They have one of the top running backs. Like they're set offensively, just like Ohio State's set offensively. They have a great offensive-minded head coach, just like Ohio State has a great young offensive-minded head coach. The question for USC is going to come on the defensive side of the ball, and I don't care, folks. I don't care that Jim Knowles is the defensive coordinator, because you know why? Until I see it, I don't believe it. And at the end of the day, it's really going to come down to, for one, they got Notre Dame right off the bat, so we're going to get a good glimpse of how much improved Ohio State's defense is. I'm not expecting perfection that day, but I need to see that there's some kind of difference between last year and this year, especially that Utah game where they just got lit up. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. And I have to say right now, again, this isn't about this upcoming season, but man, I think that right now it's tough, Kev. You're just saying Ohio State, right? Just right.
Ohio State is winning the national championship this year, and I don't even get down like that. I'm not like the big homer guy, but I think Ohio State is going to win the national championship this year.
Are you writing for a certain publication off to the side that you haven't told me?
I got my side hustle, baby. No, but I think the Buckeyes are going to win the national championship this year. I think they have the best quarterback in college football. I think they have the best wide receiver in college football. I think that the Buckeyes defense will not be back to silver bullets level, but it will be at a level where, oh, look, we got to stop on third down. Oh, look, we're not having our worst defensive player make the only play against Michigan. They're going to be able to make plays to get stops and everything like that. And another thing, this is definitely a sidebar, but don't you find it funny that our savior on defense is coming from the Big 12 after all the smack talk we all do about the Big 12 don't play no defense, the Big 12 don't play no defense. And we went and got a Big 12 defensive coordinator and the second best defense stat-wise in college football last year was Baylor. It's just funny, man. It's funny how narratives switch so quickly when it favors us. But Buckeyes winning Natty this year. That's why I have zero. I mean, I'm not saying I have zero faith, but I'm not as optimistic as others that all of a sudden within a snap of a finger, Ohio State's just going to be great defensively again. I have to say that who's going to do it first right now, unless the Pac-12 improves,
The Pac-12 is embarrassing. That's why I think it'll be USC having a chance to win it before Ohio State. It's an easier path to get to the playoff than the Big Ten. Even though Ohio State's made the Big Ten look very weak because of that's how dominant they've been. As long as that defense will always make Ohio State vulnerable against the Big Ten. Not saying that the bad to average defense for USC won't make them vulnerable to the Pac-12, but I fear the Big Ten way more than I do the Pac-12. Right now, unless I see some drastic change with that defense, I'm going to say Lincoln Riley's going to get there because it's USC, it's California. I think he's going to have an easier time. Once that aura of USC is back and that's the place to be, I'm not saying Ohio State's going to crumble. I'm just saying I think USC is going to be stacked year in and year out, just like Ohio State is. But I think the Pac-12's weaker than the Big Ten, making it more difficult for Ohio State, making it easier for USC. I might have to roll with Lincoln Riley on this one.
See, I see it from the aspect if the Big Ten is tougher, I think that means they're more battle tested and they go up against tougher competition. So when they get to the big stage in those matchups versus whomever in the college football playoff, they'll be more battle tested. If we're going with the aspect of, oh man, USC, if they're playing in the weak Pac-12, they get there and then they're finally going up against like-minded competition, then they might not be ready for the show. I think Ohio State is in prime position to win the national championship this season. The Buckeyes will hoist the banner this season. We will win the national championship season.
So I said
Ohio State will be undefeated this season and win the Natty.
Oh, damn. I was just saying, who's going to win the national championship first? I didn't mean this upcoming season.
This season, Ohio State will win the national championship.
He's about to leap. I like it.
You know, I'm a Buckeye fanatic. I love the Buckeyes. I love college football. Be on the lookout for my Twitter. I'm going to be releasing my top returning wide receivers, running backs, also quarterbacks, and I'm going to be releasing my top 10 coming into the season in July. Buckeyes winning the national championship. Spoiler alert.
I like it. You know what I'm going to say next? They're loving you on the boards. We'll be back in a moment.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 88. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers and thunderstorms, a low near 62. And tomorrow's going to be cloudy with showers, a high near 70. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Welcome to Allstate, where you can save just by being you. DriveWise in the Allstate mobile app gives you personalized driving feedback. And by adding it to your policy, you can save for driving safe just by being yourself. Allstate. Here, better protection costs a whole lot less. You're in good hands with Allstate. Click, call, or visit allstate.com to save today.
Not available in every state. Savings based on DriveWise and other safe driving discounts. Savings vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You're the one who protects the flock, and that requires an eye for detail. Because when safety and well-being are on the line, it's the details that can save lives. Even when no one else is watching, you see everything. Grainger gets you, and we're here for you, and all the ones who get it done with a wide range of safety products and solutions, plus board-certified safety consultants here to answer your questions. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry's starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover, all for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4455 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4455. Enjoy.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout 10 sale this weekend only at the mall at Fairfield Commons. Browse a huge outdoor display of hot tubs and swim spas from major brands at up to 50% off. See swim spas in action offering exercise, fun, and therapy all year long. Visit hottubshow.com or call 800-SPA-SALE.
Want to see the recipe for the perfect meal? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for great food on the go with a chicken breast combo for only $5.99. You'll get our classic Famous Recipe chicken breast that's fresh, never frozen. It's honey dipped, hand breaded, and pressure cooked, then served up with a regular side, a fluffy biscuit, and a drink. This is why our chicken is famous. Get the combo that can't be beat with a chicken breast combo for only $5.99. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Let's face it, you all have outdoor home projects to do. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil is here to help as the area's leading provider of processed topsoil, garden mix, animal bedding, and mulch. We cater to the professional landscaper, contractor, and the DIY homeowner. That's you. Buy in bulk, mulch, rock, topsoil, and sand. No matter the size of the project, we can help, and we deliver, often the same day. We also carry firewood, bedding, and fuel pellets. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil, just off I-70 and Route 4 in Springfield. Order online at madrivermulch.com. Perfect air with a personal touch. Get up to $1,000 in rebates on a new Linux system or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Linux system for as little as $132 a month. Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today to learn more or visit online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. License number Ohio license number 14911. Experience the region's largest hobby shop, The Hobby Shop. Locally owned, low prices, and no bow ties this Father's Day. Get Dad what he really wants, a fun gift from The Hobby Shop. The Hobby Shop has the fastest radio control cars, the biggest monster trucks, the coolest planes, trains, and slot cars, Warhammer 40K, boats, and plastic models too. Support a local small business by going to The Hobby Shop. We're across from Lowe's near the Dayton Mall. The Hobby Shop, ranked one of the 30 best hobby stores in the U.S.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital. Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
Looking to save money? With DriveWise from Allstate, the safer you drive, the more you can save. At Allstate, better protection costs a whole lot less. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote today.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kenner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kenner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Game 2 between the Reds and the Red Sox from Fenway Park coming up here tonight on Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds, 1410 Wing AM. Some guy on Facebook says at the end of last night's game, they said that was the Reds' first win in Boston since the 1975 World Series. Is that accurate? We didn't win in Boston for nearly 50 years until last night. That's kind of crazy. That is correct. That is the last time the Reds won in Boston, and they did it again last night. Remember what, yesterday I was talking about the secret to the Reds' success. It's really not that hard to figure out. It's been their pitching. I mean, their pitching has been lights out. I said before last night's game, look at the runs that they had been giving up. up. I mean, they gave up 2 runs to the Giants in a win, 1 run to the Giants in a win, 3 runs to the Cubs, 3 runs to the Cubs, 2 runs to the Blue Jays, 3 runs to the Blue Jays, 2 runs to the Blue Jays. They gave up 2 runs to the Guardians. All right, they gave up 1 run to the Pirates. They gave up 3 runs to the Pirates. They gave up 2 runs to the Pirates. They shut out the Pirates. Folks, that's all. And then last night they gave up 1 run against the Red Sox. They have literally been on a tear from a pitching standpoint. Their loss this past Sunday, which would have put them in position to sweep the Giants, that's the one that they gave up 6 runs in, but that was the game that Tyler Mahle took a no-hitter into, almost to the 7th inning. So to me, it's just one of those things where that's been the secret to the Reds' success. It's been all their pitching, and they're without a lot of key guys. They're without Justin Wilson. All right, they're without Nick Lodolo right now. They're getting guys back, and that's what's exciting. I'm pretty jacked about everything kind of going on with the Cincinnati Reds right now. It stinks having to bash them every single time I crack this mic, but at the end of the day, they're making it very fun and very interesting right now. Last point on the Reds, it might sound a little repetitive, but you can't sit here and bash the Reds for the first 25 games and then ignore what they've done the last 24 games. First 25 games, they were 3-22. I understood the negativity. I kind of was fanning the flame as far as that goes, right? Now, I need y'all to understand you need to come down a little bit. They are 14-9 in their last 24 games. That's pretty dang impressive right now. In the last 10 games, I'm sorry, they're 14. 23 games, whatever the total is. I can't do math today, but you see my point. To go 14-9, and since that 3-22 start, they now have the 5th best record in Major League Baseball, whatever that means. Yeah. They still have the 2nd worst record, but you got to feel good about what they're doing. And they have a chance to sweep the Red Sox in Boston tonight. And then they have a bunch of games with the Pirates coming up. They have the next 9 games are against teams 500 below 500. They can creep back into this. That's what's pretty cool, especially if you're going to be poor early because you have a whole season to make up for it. That's all.
Yeah, we just spent, 15, 20 minutes talking about the things that we don't like about baseball. Something that I do like about baseball is they have the game of the week on YouTube where people can watch it for free. Out of market games. Free 99. So I am able to watch my Cleveland Guardians right now because they are doing the game of the week on YouTube. They're beating the Royals 4-0. Shouts out to my beloved Cleveland Guardians and everything like that. And it's very interactive. They have tons of poll questions that they pop up and everything like that. So it's pretty cool. So just bashed MLB. I'll give them a lot of credit here. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, so again, I said the Pirates, but they have the Pirates around the corner, but they do have Washington coming up under 500. Arizona's under 500, and then they got the Cardinals. But that's another divisional opponent that they have a chance to kind of go head-to-head with. I mean, in the last 14 wins, within those wins, they have series wins over the Pirates, series wins over the Brewers, and series wins over the Cubs. Take care of business against the Cardinals. Now, all of a sudden, you're back in position again, and then you got Milwaukee and the Cubs again and the Pirates. And, yeah, they're
well, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
starting from the bottom is where they started from.
Exactly. So you got to start winning games somewhere. So if people are still unhappy about the way that they're playing, even though they're finally winning games and everything like that, these are how you dig yourself out of the depths of despair. You start winning games and you come from the worst team in the league to the 2nd worst team in the league and just slowly but surely climb up that ladder. I mean, with baseball being such a long season, I'm sure through the history of baseball, somebody has started with a terrible record and climbed their way back into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it's happened. So, with this much time left, we're not even to the All-Star break yet. You know what I'm saying? There's a ton of baseball to be played in the second half. There's a ton of time to be played in the first half, too. So they still have an opportunity. And furthermore, if they're playing better baseball, that means, hey, they're not horrible. Let's go to the game and enjoy the game, or let's listen to the game because they're not horrible. They're not out here losing games football score style. You know what I'm saying? So you got to start somewhere.
Yep, and you talk about some of those teams who have come back from those major deficits. I mean, there's lots of examples out there, of course. I mean, some of these that are coming up now, like how about the Oakland Athletics in 2012, 13 games back on June 30th, and then they came all the way back to lose in the American League Division Series. So they were double digits back, further back than what the Reds are at this point. In 95, the Mariners, again, 11 games back in August, come back to lose in the American League Championship Series. I mean, we're going back back and back. I'm not going to go all the way back into the 80s and 70s, but, so that there was the Twins, who were 9.5 games back on August 1st, by the way, and then they lose in the American League Division Series. So there's lots of examples, and I'm sure there are more modern-day examples as far as that's concerned. But I just think, like right now, the Reds aren't out of anything, and they have a lot of guys coming back, and that's they have more weapons coming. That's what's really cool about where the Reds are at right now. They're doing this with so many of their key guys on the IL, and those guys are coming back. Mike Minor is going to make his debut for the Reds coming up on Friday. More help on the pitching side, and that's just going to add to the depth and keep this train rolling a little bit. So one of the questions we had in our fill in the blank was, yes, about Deshaun Watson, but was, of course, about, I want to make sure I could find this one. And, of course, I can't here at the moment. But, there it is. It was Ryan Day and I said Pat Riley, but Lincoln Riley. And blank will win a national title before the other. And Kev and I were going back and forth on which coach we think, which of the young, again, both coaches are just so similar and how they kind of came into the college football landscape. Both are genius offensive minds. Both are super young. Both replaced legendary head coaches at their respective schools, or at least Lincoln Riley did before taking the USC job. Lincoln Riley replacing Bob Stoops. Oklahoma didn't miss a beat. They kept on going. Multiple playoff appearances, multiple Heisman QB winners, multiple number one overall picks. I mean, Lincoln Riley was just a feeder system himself to the NFL, right? I mean, he just kept that train rolling. And we know the job that Ryan Day has done since taking over for Urban Meyer at Ohio State. Multiple playoff appearances, a national championship appearance. I mean, some of the top, draft classes and some of the top recruiting classes in college football. Both are they're going to be parallel the rest of their careers. When we talk about some of the older coaches now, like Nick Saban against Jimbo Fisher, or, the older coach who've been more established for a while, Lincoln Riley, Ryan Day, we're going to be talking about them like we do Bowden and Paterno whenever those, two get older, assuming they're still, they stick around that long.
Right.
But it's pretty exciting. But both of them have yet to win a national championship. Ryan Day's come close. Lincoln Riley's been in the playoff multiple times. Now he's at USC. Now, he's the new shiny toy, if you will, in college football. So which of those two will win it first? You're adamant it's going to be Ryan Day, and you think not only will Ryan Day be the first of the two young coaches to win a national title first, you're saying it's going to be done this season.
This season, Ohio State will win a national championship season, hands down. I think hands down, C.J. Stroud is the best quarterback in college football. I know Bryce Young won the Heisman Trophy and everything like that. That's great. Congratulations. Yada, yada, yada. But the continuity coming back on that offense, not just from the receiving core, because, you got to think about it. Rose Bowl, obviously, his performance was crazy along with Jackson Smith and Jigba, but two of his first-round receivers were sitting on the sidelines watching, and he still put up 500 yards passing. Mm-hmm. So that continuity is going to roll over to this season. They're going to fix the offensive line problems. Last year, as everybody knows, they rolled out there with offensive tackles playing guard. Look, man, there's a reason why guards are like 6'2", 6'3", and not 6'6". You know what I'm saying? You need your road graders at guard. So they're fixing that issue, and we're putting all our hope in the defense being finally fixed. I don't need it to be the Chase Young defense, the Joey Bosa defense. I don't need it to be the A.J. Hawk and Bobby Carpenter defense. I don't need it to be that defense. I don't need it to be the best defense of all time at Ohio State. I just need them to be average, because they haven't been average in the last 2 years. All I need the Buckeye defense to be is average. Do your thing, and the offense will take care of the rest. The Buckeyes will win the Natty this year. Too high-powered of an offense, too smart of a head coach, too much continuity coming back, not only from the running back, from the quarterback to the wide receivers and offensive line. There's tons of continuity all over the place. Buckeyes win the Natty this year.
So, again, in the discussion of Ryan Day, Lincoln Riley, which young coach wins the national title first? Kev picks Ryan Day and goes a step further and says not only will Ryan Day win the title before Lincoln Riley, he's going to do it this upcoming season. I'm not saying Lincoln Riley as confidently as you are saying Ryan Day, mainly because I don't think either of them win a national title this upcoming season, mainly because both are mirrored images of one another. Arguably the two best offenses in the country. Obviously with Bryce Young, you could throw Alabama in there as well, but I still think it's Ohio State and USC, just with all the weapons they have. I mean, USC was going to have dynamic wide receivers before they added Addison. Now they have the best receiver in the country with the other talent with Taj and some of those guys.
Right.
Like, come on, like it's ridiculous how stacked they are on the offensive side of the ball. I think Ohio State's more well-rounded with that offensive line and the run game and that type of ordeal. But both teams mirror one another in their deficiencies too, and that's on the defensive side of the ball. USC's very rough defensively, and Ohio State has been very rough defensively. Look, if Ohio State last year was their only bad defensive year, sandwich between a lot of really dominant years, and fine, but Ohio State's been on a steady decline defensively since that 2020 draft when you had Jeff Okudah, and that was and even then that year. It was that Chase Young year. That was the last year that they were top notch. After that was 19. So 20, 21, and 20, possibly 22. It's been a rough ride. So for me, I can't say, I don't think either of these two win a national title this coming up year. I mean, look at the college football playoff every year. It's not a shootout. I mean, right now, Ohio State's a Big 12 team until I see otherwise. They have a Big 12 defensive coordinator. Now, USC, they're a Big 12 team. It's all offense and no defense. So I'm sure there were years where Oklahoma felt with Baker and those high-powered offenses, we're going to win a national title. I'm sure there's years with the Kyler Murray even. I mean, look at all these prolific offenses. The prolific offense that LSU had, what do they have to go with? A prolific defense. That's why I think Alabama is just more balanced than Ohio State and USC as far as this upcoming year. But yeah, I could see Ryan Day winning it before Lincoln Riley, but I fear Lincoln Riley at USC. He scares me at USC because I don't think Urban had to recruit as hard at Ohio State as he had in years past because they weren't recruiting, they were selecting. And I think USC, because of where they're located and because he may have kind of awoken a sleeping giant, if you will, it might get back to that point too where they're not going to have an issue finding dominant defensive pieces either. So yeah, I'm going to say Lincoln Riley hesitantly, not as confidently as you are with Ryan Day. So there you go.
Another thing about what Jim Knowles is doing with the Buckeye defense, when you have a change of regime in either offense or defense, he's not beholden to anybody. You know,
we've seen the portal light up since he got there.
Yeah, like we're going to see a lot of younger guys out there playing ball, guys that he has helped recruit, guys that are going to be with the Buckeyes in the future and everything like that, as opposed to playing the upperclassmen because they're upperclassmen and everything like that. So, you know, what's our guy that played at Alter, who's a Buckeye now? Just drawing a blank on his name.
Yes, I know you're talking. Get back to me.
Yes. He'll be playing a lot.
Great local show right here.
Right, exactly.
Think of the kid's name.
So
we've had him on, so it's not like
exactly. So he's going to be playing for the Buckeyes. You know, they're going to get that young talent out there early in the season. And when you get that young talent out there early in the season, you expect them to develop over the season for them to be in prime position to be making plays later and later in the season. Because I'm going to say that the younger talent, CJ Hicks, the talent probably level is equal. The older guys, you know, may be bigger, stronger and everything like that, but where they're expecting a CJ Hicks to go, they're expecting another young guys to be, once their careers are over, they want them back on there ASAP. They want them on the field making plays and developing, and I think that they're going to do that. And I think the defense is going to be above average this upcoming season. I'm going to see some defensive plays made as opposed to, you know, catching tackles, as coaches like to say. I'm going to expect the guys to be making some hits, making plays. Buckeyes winning it.
And last point on this too, the reason I'm more leaning Lincoln Riley and USC, they're more welcoming to transfers. Ryan Day, I respect his approach because what he's saying is, he goes, I'm not just going to go and fill our whole roster with transfers when we've got young guys in that we're trying to
develop.
Yeah, they're trying to develop. And I don't want to stunt the growth of these guys because we just grabbed someone that has a year or two left and then stunts their development. Ohio State's they haven't dove into that.
Right.
They've got transfers, don't get me wrong. But they're not, I mean, he's even come out, they're not swimming in those waters. USC, they're doing high dives into those waters.
Right.
Which means there's going to be, I think, a quicker turnaround at USC defensively than Ohio State. Which means if that happens, if the defense can match what they do offensively, that might be why Lincoln Riley might have a leg up on Ohio State as far as their willingness to dive into that, if you will. But it's nothing guaranteed.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. My rebuttal to that is the teams that go swimming in the transfer portal, they're trying to turn over the roster fast to get wins.
That's what Michigan State did.
Michigan State did it. Obviously, USC is doing it right now. Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, Tennessee is doing it. Florida State is doing it, trying to get, you know, the roster turned over with guys that are ready to play and ready to make an impact from wherever. Like if it's a group of 5 dude that was was a baller at school, hey, come on down. Like, we don't have to train you. We don't have to teach you the college game. We don't need to teach you how to go to class and make it to practice on time. All that adjustment stuff was done at the other program. You can come here and hit the ground running. But when you're at a program like Ohio State and Bama, who dips their toe in it, kind of like how Ohio State is doing, like they select who they're going to need and want. Like, this is a well-oiled machine, and I don't think they're necessarily going to have to do that because they already got the guys there. They're going to be more worried about the dudes exiting because they can't, quote-unquote, cut it.
I hate when that happens. All right, this is the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 ESPN Radio. So there is that. But yes, it's going to be interesting. I love watching those two young coaches just continue each year, and both are going to have pretty high teams, very good teams with high expectations this upcoming season. All right, we'll step away for a few moments. We have two more fill in the blanks that we have to dive into, one featuring the NBA Dynasties. You look at what the Golden State Warriors are about to potentially do if they could beat the Celtics in this year's finals. That's a dynasty that's right up there with some of the the great Bulls dynasty of the 90s, the 2000s dynasty of the Lakers. It's time to put the Warriors at that table as well and discuss which one of those dynasties is the most impressive. Also, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Josh Allen. Which one of those three is going to win an MVP first? We got all of that coming up on Fill in the Blank. Don't go anywhere. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash when we come back.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
If you need new roofing, siding, or gutters, skylights, or patio enclosures, if you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Mow like a pro with Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers. They engineer their mowers to be maintenance and service friendly for the everyday homeowner while not sacrificing the build and cut quality they're known for. From the heavy-duty frame to the welded steel deck to their trademark smooth track steering, Hustler Turf zero-turn mowers deliver professional grade cut quality for a perfectly manicured lawn. Come in to Small Engine Service Pros to see the Hustler difference for yourself today. Small Engine Service Pros, 2030 North Dayton Lakeview Road, Route 235 in New Carlisle.
Tracy, line 1 is looking for a quote on a mini split.
Crazy spring temperatures are heating up Dwight HVAC phone lines.
Next week we're booked solid.
If they don't find more technicians, they'll be in hot water.
How are we down 3 technicians in the past 3 weeks?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Hi, Tom Bodette here. Just thinking about how people all talk to cats the same way. You know, that calming voice those floofers pretend they can't hear, all cute and standoffish. It does get their motors purring, though. Let's see if it sounds like catnip to your ears when I say, pets stay free at Motel 6 in rooms that are more comfy than a box full of yarn. Do you like that, people? I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, the proud sponsor of pets, and we'll leave the laser light on for you.
Tracy, line 1 is looking for a quote on a mini split.
Crazy spring temperatures are heating up Dwight HVAC phone lines.
Next week we're booked solid.
If they don't find more technicians, they'll be in hot water.
How are we down 3 technicians in the past 3 weeks?
Indeed can help them hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Earn up to $500 in sponsored job credits by interviewing on Indeed. Visit Indeed.com/credit. Terms and conditions apply.
It's the perfect season for a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Summer Sale Event. Save up to 45% on secure PCs built for business with Windows 10 Pro. You'll also find great savings on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and other accessories to help boost productivity. Plus, enjoy free shipping on everything. Do more with modern devices and Windows 10 Pro. Call 877-ASK-DELL for a Dell Technologies advisor who can help you find the right tech. That's 877-ASK-DELL for business specials during Dell's Summer Sale Event.
Cutting the price of your wireless bill feels good, really good. Actually, it feels great. You should try it out. So cut your bill by switching to Straight Talk Wireless, now offering our $45 Silver Unlimited plan with 5 gigabytes of hotspot and nationwide 5G on America's largest, most dependable networks. The $45 Silver Unlimited plan from Straight Talk. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise.
A month equals 30 days. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
O'Reilly. Get ready for summer vacation now at O'Reilly Auto Parts with up to a $15 gift card after mail-in rebate when you purchase select Superstart batteries. With the power, performance, and reliability your vehicle demands, Superstart batteries are made to deliver long life and consistent starts. Superstart batteries only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Do you or any of your family members, neighbors, or friends own a property that you just want to be done with it? If so, call Turbo Truck Realty today for an all-cash offer at 614-470-2000, 614-470-2000. Would it be convenient for you to take what you wanted and leave the rest behind? Great, I'll buy it. Call 614-470-2000. That's 614-470-2000. 2000.
Suffering from junk sleep? Mattress Firm can help. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $500 off during the best Memorial Day sale ever.
All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
Alex Sogard, Wright State baseball coach, joins us coming up here in 8 minutes. I'm Justin Kinner, sitting alongside Kev Nash, the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
What up, no?
All right, we closed out our fill-in-the-blank portion of the show, and, we've had some good ones. Deshaun Watson, how many games does Deshaun Watson have to play in 2022 to justify the trade? I said 0, because the trade was never made just for 2022. And my point, what I mean by that is if Deshaun Watson gets suspended for all of the 2022 season, it's not like the Browns are going to be like, damn it, I knew we shouldn't have made that move. No, the Browns knew that was a possibility. That's what I mean by that. Like, it's not like they are going to be, thrown off by it. So it's just going to be one of those things. That's why I say 0. It's not a good thing for the Browns. No one's cheering if he doesn't play all season, or miss half a season. But that was my point, was it's not as if it's going to start. They made this trade knowing that. That's like saying, if you buy a new vehicle knowing that there's issues with the engine, and then right when you get it home a week later, all of a sudden the engine blows up and you're like, I knew we shouldn't have bought that. You bought it knowing there was engine problems. You traded for Deshaun Watson knowing that there's a possibility of this. That's why I said Zero. I don't think he has to play in one game this year to justify it, because there was always the possibility that the car would never be driven off the lot. That's kind of my view of that. So, there you go.
I like the analogy.
Yeah, it just came to me. Very smart man. I am. All right. Next up on the fill in the blank, the dynasties that are kind of rolling right now. The 90s Bulls, the 2000s Lakers, or this Golden State Warriors dynasty that really doesn't fit within at least the Bulls all fit within that 90 to 96, that at least within that nice little beautiful window, right? Even the Lakers, they did all their damage in that 2000 to 2010. I mean, 6 titles in that run or whatever it was. Like they kicked ass, and the Warriors started theirs in 17 and it's still going. So it's the one of those dynasties. You ever realize it doesn't happen often? Usually a team just dominates within a 10-year window, but they're starting in that mid 2015 to range to the early 2020s. But the Golden State Warriors dynasty, the Bulls dynasty, the 90s, or the Lakers dynasty, the 2000s, which one is most impressive? Blank was or is the most impressive dynasty.
I have an inkling to say the Bulls, but I think it's the Lakers.
Okay.
I think it's the Lakers because Shaquille O'Neal. Like, it's Shaquille O'Neal. And not only that, they still had to go through another dynasty at the same time, which the Spurs. So their dynasties overlap. There's no other dynasty that overlaps with the Bulls. Like, they took care of the dynasties. Once they got there, there was no other dynasty because they beat them. And the only other team to win during that time frame was the Rockets. But then obviously MJ was retired and everything like that. And then when MJ came back, the Rockets were on the downs. You know what I'm saying? So like the teams that, okay, we can settle this once and for all, who's the better team of the 90s, they never got a chance to play. So I'm going to roll with the Lakers. Surprisingly enough. I know you thought I would say the Bulls.
No, I actually didn't think of that point for the Lakers. You are right. They're the only one of those 3 dynasties that are side by side with another dynasty.
Yeah.
But the way you can counter that is say, well, there was no other side by side dynasty with the Bulls because they didn't let it.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect of it. Here's why I think it's Golden State. Golden State, like LeBron, the Cavs were supposed to be that dynasty. In fact, you could argue that there was another dynasty with the Warriors. It was the Cavs.
Eastern Conference
dynasty. The Cavs were in the finals every damn year. Every year that LeBron was there. So, and LeBron still got to the finals even when Kyrie left.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they weren't better than the Warriors, but to be honest, you weren't going to beat that damn Warriors team. That's how dominant. They were just as dominant as the Bulls. In fact, that's why you start seeing all those when Kevin Durant was there. Kevin Durant, Steph, Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green going up against the 90s Bulls. Like, it's not as, I know you people out there that drool over the 90s Bulls like it was like just Jesus on all 5 spots on the floor, which is not. That's not a clear cut, the Bulls would win that easily. There's no such thing as winning that easily. That's how dominant both those teams were. I'm going to say that the Warriors, and here's why. The Warriors have won a championship before Kevin Durant got there. And Kevin Durant got there, and they won 2 more championships. I can't say the Warriors yet, but if the Warriors beat this Celtics team, and they win a championship again with a whole new roster. The core is the same, but another whole that's why the Bulls are impressive too. Yes, it was MJ and Pippen, but then you had the 96 run, the 94, the 95, 96 run. You had that one year where but the core all changed. You had the Steve Kerr part of that second half run or whatever. The 2000s Lakers I really like. They also did it with 2 different rosters. Shaq was the main guy in 2000 for that dynasty, for that 3-peat, or those 3. And then the transition to Kobe's team, and then Kobe went to 3 straight finals, winning 2 of them in the back half of the 2000s. So that's impressive. I mean, I don't know. I don't have an answer.
It's the Lakers.
It's the Lakers. I think it's the Lakers. But the Warriors, if they win a championship right now, they won it before Durant, then won 2 with Durant, and then won another one without Durant. I mean, you won 2 titles without the second best player in the NBA over the last 10 years on your roster. You won 2 with him on there. I mean, when Draymond Green told Kevin Durant, we don't need you to win, He freaking meant it, and they're freaking proving it. And if they win it, right now it's the Lakers. But if the Warriors win and beat the Celtics, Kev, I have to say it's the Warriors at that point. But that's tough. The Lakers, and that's a good one. The Lakers right now, but that means the Bulls. So who would you put next if you're ranking them?
The Bulls.
Man.
The Bulls.
It's fair. But I have to go with the Warriors.
It's the Lakers for me because of the three-peat. They beat the Pacers. They beat Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers. They beat the Nets.
Mm-hmm.
Then obviously everything with Shaq and Kobe, they disbanded and everything like that. Because people forget, like, even though they won the three straight, they end up getting back to the finals when Gary Payton and Karl Malone were on the team, and they lost to the Pistons and everything like that. So, I mean, yeah, they didn't win the championship, but they were in the finals playing for the championship. So then they retool with Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom and Kobe, and they go on to win 2 or 3. You know, they ultimately beat who they beat. They beat the Magic, lost to the Celtics, and then beat the Celtics in a game 7 where Ron Artest hit that big 3 and everything like that. So I think that theirs is, honestly, I think it's by far the best one, to be honest. I mean, you look at the Bulls, they take care of the Lakers in the finals. They make that defensive switch.
Old Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson was not old.
Tragic Johnson.
Magic Johnson was 32 years old.
He was in the spring chicken.
Dude said Magic Johnson was old at 32. Goodness. So hold on, you just turned 32, didn't you? You're not even 32 yet.
I'm a tragic disaster. But yeah. So, but here's the thing. The Bulls can't be second on that list because they lost MJ, didn't make it to the finals. The Warriors lose Kevin Durant. They're about to make it to the finals.
They didn't make the playoffs for 2 straight years.
Yeah, you play all your players injured. You're supposed to make the no. All right, that's it. No, we haven't. I didn't think this show would get this far after the way our NBA conversation.
The Lakers didn't make the play. The Lakers lost to who they lose to? The Celtics? No, they lost to the Suns in that first round matchup where Kobe decided, like, I'm not shooting the ball.
It was Kobe, Lamar, and nobody else. That team was
Smush
horrible.
Parker era, baby.
That was the 8 seed going up against them. I mean, holy moly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I tell you what, we'll step away for a few moments. No, we have another one coming up around the corner. We'll spread these out, but unreal. And by the way, if Kevin Durant doesn't go down against the Raptors, that's
Lord.
another damn title. No, it's the Warriors, baby. GSW. I'm getting tattooed on my neck.
That's your second tattoo.
What's my first one?
Remember, you were supposed to get a Reds player tattooed.
Which one was that again?
I forget who it was.
I'm running out of space, man. I mean,
get that sleeve. That sleeve, man.
Holy moly. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on 1410 Wing AM. We'll pick up with that later on in the show. But let's talk about college baseball. Wright State's Alex Sogard, head coach, going to join us next. Wright State against Virginia Tech coming up on Friday. NCAA tournament action. The Raiders won their conference tournament for the 5th time in the last 7 years. And we all know that, instant classic that was Wright State against Tennessee in the NCAA tournament last year. That was my favorite college baseball game of all time. We're going to talk about that with Coach Sogard coming up, as well as look ahead to their tournament game on Friday night. Again, I'm pretty excited about that. Best college baseball program in Ohio.
Facts.
Pretty cool. And very limited resources. I mean, you look at the resources Ohio State has and UD and these other schools, and Wright State has the best baseball team in the state of Ohio consistently. It's not like it's a one-off. And by the way, they may not have the best team in Ohio, but they have the best program. They have the best program in the state of Ohio. I think that's pretty damn impressive. And we'll talk with the coach of that best program in the state of Ohio, Alex Sogard, next.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
O'Reilly. Stay cool this summer with AC Pro Refrigerant and O'Reilly Auto Parts. Right now, get a $15 O'Reilly Auto Parts gift card after mail-in rebate, plus earn double O Rewards points with the purchase of select AC Pro Refrigerant products. Beat the heat before you hit the road with AC Pro Refrigerant at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store.
O'Reilly. Auto Parts.
Trade pros. Whether you specialize in service or new construction, Ferguson knows firsthand how much work goes into a long day on the job, which is why we're committed to offering the products and solutions to get every job done right. With over 1,000 locations, an unmatched selection of specialty products, tools, and supplies, our pro pickup and same or next day delivery, you can trust that doing business with Ferguson will be the easiest part of your hard day's work. Visit Ferguson.com to find a counter location near you.
If you work remote, Staples has you covered.
A mid-mod desk chair to rejuvenate my ho-hum workspace.
Staples has you covered.
A place to put my papers so I can be more productive.
A storage cabinet that I can roll out of the way on weekends.
Staples has you covered with remote workspace solutions. And now get 25% off storage and filing products, chair mats, decor, and lighting with the purchase of an office chair or desk. Explore solutions for your remote workspace at Staples, the working and learning store. N72, in-store only.
Longer days are a welcome sight, just like these unbeatable prices at Rural King. Get 4 gallons of Pool Shock liquid chlorinator for just $9.99 a box. Or Taste of the Wild High Prairie grain-free dog food for $49.99 a bag, in-store only. And don't miss out on assorted veggie or herb plants for just $3.99 a piece. Shop these deals and more at RuralKing.com or your neighborhood Rural King, America's farm and home store.
Save big on your next project with 11% off everything now at Menards. Check out Menards' great selection of automotive products and restore your headlights to look like new again. A Turtle Wax Lens Restorer Kit removes discoloration and improves clarity. Right now, pick up a headlight lens restorer kit for only $7.99 after 11% rebate. Good through June 5th. Savings are mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well. Medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
At Family Dollar, we know you want more to enjoy your summer. Delight your family with our great assortment of ice cream and frozen treats. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
You can't get much for $5 these days, unless you go to Wendy's for a $5 Biggie Bag. Get your choice of double stack, junior bacon cheeseburger, or crispy chicken BLT, plus 4-piece nugs, fries, and a drink, all for just $5. You got that bag, you got that Biggie Bag, you got that bag. That was smooth, wasn't it? That's how you're going to feel when you get that Biggie Bag at Wendy's.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes 4-piece nuggets, small soft drink, and small fry. Prices may be higher in Alaska and Hawaii.
Nobody protects you from mayhem like Allstate. I'm a speed bump. Did you hear what I said? I'm a speed bump. And if you have cut-rate car insurance, the cost to reattach your muffler could really be a bump in the road. So switch to Allstate, save money, and be better protected from mayhem, like me.
Based on coverage and limits selected, subject to terms, conditions, and availability. In most states, prices vary based on how you buy. Allstate Bar and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You want to feel important.
You want to be part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things.
You want to feel like you belong.
We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it.
We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers.
We are normal people just like you. But our part-time service in the Army National Guard means we get to be more.
When our communities are in need, we get the chance to stand up and do something about it.
We get to serve in our own region and help the people we call neighbors.
From the lakeshores of Ohio, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Minnesota.
The fertile fields of Indiana, Illinois, and Iowa, to the wide open plains of North and South Dakota.
We are here for our hometowns.
And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard. Aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
You and your phone have been through a lot this past year. It's been your lifeline to the world. And now some big wireless company is telling you got to buy a new phone from them and sign their contract? They don't control you. With TracFone Wireless, you can keep the phone, number, and network you already have. Already got a 5G phone? Keep that too, because TracFone runs on America's best networks now with 5G nationwide. Plus, we've got unlimited talk and text smartphone plans starting at just $20. TracFone Wireless. Now you're in control. 5G nationwide access requires a 5G capable device. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary.
The DEA says Dayton is one of the nation's hardest hit places when it comes to overdoses and drug-related violent crime. News Center 7 is talking with agents to give you an inside look at the new operation designed to save lives. Today on News Center 7, beginning at 5.
Carrie Underwood, Thomas Rhett, Maren Morris on the next Entertainment Tonight. We're backstage for the iHeart Country Festival.
Every single act is at the top of their game.
Next ET, tonight at 7:30 on Channel 7.
All right, we are back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. We are also Dayton's home of the Cincinnati Reds. And the Reds, of course, despite playing much better baseball, still have one of baseball's worst records. So rather than talk about one of the worst teams in baseball, let's talk about arguably the best college baseball team in the entire state. NCAA Tournament game this Friday night against Virginia Tech. Raiders head coach Alex Sogard hanging out with us today. Coach, how are you? Appreciate your time today.
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, to the point to where this is the norm and this is the expectation. But no matter how many times you guys do it, no matter how familiar you are with this moment right here, I'm sure it doesn't get old.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's that easy. It definitely doesn't get old. You know, this year I think we had a little more adversity on the field than we've had in years past. You know, had more struggles, but you know, we started playing our best baseball at the end of the year, and that's what you want to be doing.
Coach, you talked about those struggles that you faced throughout the season, struggles that, you know, your team usually isn't accustomed to experiencing. What do you contribute that to? I mean, if I had to guess, I'm just assuming just with all the turnover, I mean, you guys had such a stacked roster last year due, I'm assuming, to COVID and having a lot of guys be able to get that extra year and having an entire senior class come back. With having all of those upperclassmen last year and then them, of course, graduating and moving on, now you had a lot of younger players, new faces in new places. Did that contribute the most to some of your ups and downs throughout the season, or what would you credit that to?
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. You know, last year we had kind of a you know, a super team in a sense where we were able to return those seniors because of COVID. So it was a very experienced team, and you know, there's a number of those guys that returned, but they didn't have that on-field experience. You know, they were at the regional last year in Knoxville, and you know, but they weren't on the field, and so we definitely had some growing pains early. We had some growing pains on the mound, but you know, we're starting to get it all ironed out. And like I said, I talked to our guys all year, and it's like, listen, going through these struggles is going to help us at the end of the year, you know, and playing in these tight games is going to help us. You know, last year it seemed like in our league, every game was a blowout, you know, and the reality is once you get to the tournament, postseason play, that's not how it's going to be. There's going to be a lot of one-run games that they have to be able to win. And we've had a lot more of those this year, which I think is going to help us in the postseason.
Yeah, you say that now, but when you got all this damn bad weather in the area and you're trying to get a conference tournament in, I mean, could we add a run rule, please? I mean, you could have ended these games like a lot sooner.
Well, you're right. No, I'm glad we were able to get the games in because it didn't look great at first with all the weather. But, you know, I think we were peaking at the right time. We played our three best games likely all year this past weekend. Our last game, the championship game, hands down on both sides of the ball, was our best game of the season. So it was a great time to obviously do that on the mound. You know, we only gave up a few hits. We played really good defense. And then obviously offensively, the guys showed up 1 through 9. So it was fun to see because those guys have been, you know, busting their tails all year long, and to see it come together, you know, and on that stage, you know, was pretty neat.
Wright State baseball coach Alex Sogard hanging out with us here this afternoon on the Justin Kinner Show.
with Kev Nash. Wright State baseball going to be in action this Friday night as they take on Virginia Tech in the 4-1 matchup. Of course, Wright State, the 4 seed, Virginia Tech, the 1. Now, there's always going to be nerves involved when you get to this stage, of course, Coach, and you're going up against a 1 seed. So, there's going to be that element to it. But I think what helps, and I think you'll attest to this, is you've faced this opponent already. There's some familiarity with this opponent. You're not learning this opponent for the very first time. You're kind of picking up where you left off a few months ago. How much does that dynamic help a young group like yours in preparation for this and what is a very high-pressured stakes 4-1? Playing this team already and picking up a win against them has to be good for the morale and confidence booster for your team heading into this matchup on Friday.
There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I mean, I think the way our guys are wired, we think we can beat anybody. That's our mindset. Anytime we step on the field, I don't care if it's the best team in the country. I think we can compete if we show up. But it definitely helps when you've played in the environment, and all these guys have pitched and played on that field, and we've seen, they know us, we know them. It doesn't happen often. We play that tough schedule early for these reasons, but you don't typically end up going to the same place you were at earlier in the year. But no, I think it's a good matchup. They're clearly a very talented team. But I think we can compete with them if we show up that day. And they have a really explosive offense, one of the best offenses in the country. And, I think we could hit with anybody as well. I believe their park plays smaller. I know there was some wind when we were there last time, but it does play smaller. So it'll be a good matchup. It'll be a good matchup.
Coach, I only want to put positive mojo out there for you guys, but I do want to kind of rewind a bit to last year at this time when you were also the 4 seed going up against the 1 seed, Wright State versus Tennessee. And honestly, that was the best baseball game, college baseball game I've ever witnessed. I wish I was there. The atmosphere was unlike anything I've seen. It was like a SEC football atmosphere for that baseball game. It was unreal. I'm not sure what kind of environments you've been a part of throughout your long and successful career, but that had to have been quite the experience. And it was not obviously the result you wanted or all of the Wright State fans wanted, but it is weird when people ask me about that, because I'm like, that result, that stunk, but that might be my favorite baseball game ever. I got goosebumps. I got chills. That was just a different level college baseball game for me that I've witnessed. And I don't know where that ranks for you, but that had to have been quite the experience for you professionally. But I'm obviously the outcome, not what you wanted. But just take us back to last year, some of your takeaways from that now that you've had a full year to digest that, and especially just a few days ahead of taking on Virginia Tech and this year's NCAA tournament.
Yeah, obviously, being on the losing end of it was tough, right? It was just in the way it happened was pretty gut-wrenching. But I think just as a baseball fan, sometimes I step back and just analyze it from a fan's perspective. If you like baseball, to me, that was one of the best games probably all season. And I know in the history of our program, even though we lost the game, it was just like a heavyweight fight, yes, back and forth. And the environment, credit to Tennessee and their fans, the environment was maybe the best environment I've ever seen as a player or coach. And I was fortunate to go to the College World Series with Oregon State, and we won it a couple of years. And then obviously the old Rosenblatt Stadium was incredible. But at a regional, that may have been the most electric crowd experience that I've ever seen. So it was it's something our guys will remember the rest of their lives. And I know it's tougher when you're not on when you're on the losing end, especially the way we played. The guys played such a great game, but that was an incredible experience. And I think that didn't surprise me the way we showed up, because we tend to thrive in those environments, and guys like the big stage. They like to get challenged. They like the thought of, hey, we're the underdogs here, because I think that's how our guys are. They're kind of like a pack of wild dogs, and you unleash them, when it's game time. And so, it was an incredible game. I did end up rewatching it. It took a while, but I just watched it from a baseball fan perspective, and it was incredible. They were extremely talented, as were we, and it was just a back and forth battle. And like I said last year, they got to hit last. I think if we hit last, maybe it's a different story. But it was just one of those games that was exciting from the first pitch really to the last.
Yeah, it was one of those situations for me as a fan. I watched more college baseball this year than I ever have before, and honestly, it stems back to that game. Just the experience of watching that and the emotion that was there. Again, not the team that I wanted to win did it, but it was just the overall, for me, just experience of a fan taking that in. I can't imagine what that was like for you as a coach and your players and the experience of that all together. Last thing on the way out here, Coach, it's interesting. A few weeks ago it was pretty cool, at the Major League level to get to see Joe Smith, the former Wright State pitcher, go up against Sean Murphy. And to see that, how cool is that for you? Again, this program's just every year just getting better and better and growing bigger and bigger. But how cool was that in the biggest stage to see a Wright State pitcher go up against a Wright State hitter at the Major League level, of course, with Joe Smith against Sean Murphy? How cool of an experience was that for you in the program?
Yeah, it was incredible. I know the guys loved seeing it. It was cool. I think Joe had a little bit of smirk on his face, pretty subtle when Sean was walking up to the box. And, those guys are here in the off season. They train a lot of times with us, so we're around them a lot. And so for our guys to see them here and then see them there facing each other on the big stages is really a neat deal. And I hope it's, we have a lot of guys having a lot of success in AA, AAA that were here the last few years. And so, hopefully we're going to see a lot more of it the next few years.
Who are some guys on your team now? I'm not putting them in that MLB scope here, but just the guys that we should be keeping an eye out for this coming up Friday. Obviously, Alex Sogard, obviously Zane Harris, the freaking tank that he is. I mean, he was a triple away from a cycle last weekend. I mean, my goodness, that guy ate.
Yeah, Zane Harris had maybe the best conference tournament weekend in history. Mm-hmm. I believe he was 10 for 13 in the 3 games. And I think he had 15 RBIs. I mean, and clearly it's a beach ball to him right now. He's seeing it well. And that was a pretty neat deal. He's a 6-year senior because of COVID. He's here another year and he's always hit since he's been here. So for it to be his last conference tournament and him to really carry the team offensively was pretty neat. But yeah, Alex Sogard was our conference player of the year. A really good hitter. He's been solid for us all year. Justin Reamer is a redshirt freshman. He's our leadoff guy. He's kind of our spark plug. He's a little guy, but just finds the barrel and doesn't chase pitches and gets on base a lot. And, offensively, guys are confident going in, which is what you want.
Yeah, Zane Harris had 5 RBIs against Oakland, and then Sammy Sass had 9 RBIs against Oakland as well. A lot of guys had big weekends for you. It was fun to watch that. It's going to be even more fun to watch him this coming up Friday. Alex Sogard, Wright State head baseball coach, good enough to join us this Friday. The 4-seed Wright State taking on the 1-seed Virginia Tech, 7 o'clock. Again, Wright State coming off their 5th Horizon League title in the last 7 seasons. Alex, thanks so much for your time. Rooting for you. Can't wait for Friday night, and we'll talk soon. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mostly cloudy with a chance of showers and thunderstorms, a high near 88. Tonight's going to be cloudy with showers and thunderstorms, a low near 62. And tomorrow's going to be cloudy with showers, a high near 70. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
You don't get to be the league's all-time leading rusher without feeling some pain.
Pro football legend Emmitt Smith knows joint pain, and he also knows the old treatments aren't the only treatments. Today, there's a natural alternative to drugs and surgery. It's biologic therapies from QC Kinetics.
I'm talking regenerative solutions that encourage your body to heal and repair itself.
Do you have pain in your hips, knees, shoulder, lower back? Want to get your life back? The local medical professionals at QC Kinetics can help.
Call to learn more about this exciting natural way to deal with chronic joint pain.
Don't put it off. Call QC Kinetics. Restorative regenerative solutions with no downtime and lasting results.
Don't let your joint pain keep you from doing the things you love. There's a new natural solution that patients are raving about.
QC Kinetics.
Make the call to QC Kinetics. Tell them Emmitt Smith sent you.
Call QC Kinetics, 937-936-0325. That's 937-936-0325. 937-936-0325.
Skylights or patio enclosures. If you're a homeowner or business and need someone you can trust, don't take a chance. Enhance with Lance. Lance Roofing and Siding in Fairborn has been satisfying customers since 1993 and hold an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Lance Roofing and Siding, 8460 Dayton Springfield Road in Fairborn. Call for a free estimate at 864-2722. That's 864-2722 or online at lanceroofing.com.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Tent Sale this weekend only at the mall at Fairfield Commons. Browse over 30 hot tubs and swim spas from 5 major brands at up to 50% off. Financing is available and admission is free. That's this weekend at the mall at Fairfield Commons in the parking lot near JCPenney. Visit hottubshow.com or call 800-SPA-SALE.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Do you know what people see when they Google you? Search engines don't always get it right. And when they're wrong, it's your reputation on the line. So what do you do when you don't agree with your search results? Call Reputation Defender at 800-401-6681. Reputation Defender is one of the most trusted names in online reputation repair. We have over a decade of experience in fixing people's search results, and we can help you too. Using cutting-edge approaches, Reputation Defender pushes unflattering information down to lower pages of your search results, where few people ever look. We also promote the good stuff so that it rises to the top, letting you put your best foot forward. Your good name is too valuable to leave to the whims of a Google algorithm. You owe it to yourself to take control with Reputation Defender. Visit www.reputationdefender.com or call 800-401-6681 for free advice on your situation. That's 800-401-6681.
Getting the perfect bite of a KFC hand-breaded 100% white meat chicken sandwich? That's finger looking good. Order the KFC chicken sandwich in classic or spicy today. Prices and participation may vary.
College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
All right, and we are back. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Shout out to Alex Sogard, Wright State baseball coach, spending some time with us here this afternoon ahead of their regional matchup this coming up Friday. Again, they'll be taking on Virginia Tech in a basically a rematch from earlier in the season, but they're in the Blacksburg Regional. And last year, do you remember that Tennessee game?
Yes.
It was a football atmosphere for a college baseball game. And Alex, Coach Sogard, who's been to a couple college World Series, he said, with Oklahoma State or Oregon State, he said that was the best atmosphere he's ever been a part of, that Tennessee regional last year. It was college football. I mean, the chance, everything. It was, I got goosebumps. And the team I wanted to win didn't even win. It was the grand slam, bottom of the ninth. The crowd just went out. If you guys want to go and YouTube it, I'm telling you right now, it just stinks that I'm telling you to YouTube away Wright State lost. But I'm just saying it was the best baseball game I've ever seen. So pretty cool. But shout out to him for taking time and hanging out with us again as they prep for their regional matchup this coming up Friday against Virginia Tech. So we welcome you back again. I'm Justin Kinner. He's Kev Nash. So this Dan Flouty on Facebook sent a book. This was about our conversation about Deshaun Watson earlier. It said that, how many games does Deshaun Watson have to play this season to justify the trade? And I think the context behind that, you got to understand that just because you make a trade in an off season does not mean that move was only made for this upcoming season. Deshaun Watson is the highest paid player in the NFL right now, and it wasn't done just so they can have him for this upcoming season. It was so that he could be their quarterback of the future. So I had thrown out, how many games does Deshaun Watson have to play in 2022 for the trade to be justified? I said 0. And another example I'm going to use here, Kev, is remember 2 years ago when the Nets signed Kevin Durant and they knew they weren't going to have him for the entire season? I'm not comparing these two to an injury to the you know what I'm saying, the severity of what we're talking about with the legal issues with Deshaun. But the point is that the Nets didn't make a move based on the upcoming season and the upcoming season only. They made a move because they're going to have Kevin Durant not, for that season, but for the next 3, 4, 5, maybe the rest of his career. That's the move that they made. That's what they were hoping for. That's what the Browns did. They traded and signed and extended Deshaun Watson, knowing that there's a chance that they wouldn't have him this upcoming season. So to me, I don't hold it. If he ends up getting suspended for the full year, I don't hold it against the Browns for making the move. We did nothing but rip the Browns for decades because they couldn't find a quarterback. And then when they go out and get a quarterback, we get mad at them for, well, not that quarterback. Well, someone was going to sign him. Deshaun was going to play for somebody. Why not be Cleveland? And Cleveland took advantage of the resources that they had, and they spent the money. And we'll see. But Dan Flouty on Facebook, Kev, says, the Browns losing Watson for the year would be a disaster. The drop-off from Watson to Brissett is significantly greater than the improvement from Mayfield to Watson. A fair observation, but keep in mind, if that happens, it doesn't mean, what happens if Watson gets suspended for the year, comes back, and within the next 3 years wins the Browns a Super Bowl? At that point, it's worth it. Right? That's what I mean by that. So again, you guys you're shrinking it down to the impact it would have on this upcoming season. Yes, it would be catastrophic for this upcoming season, but it would not be catastrophic big picture when you look at the whole purpose of signing great players. It's, yes, you want to win right away with them because we're impatient as a society, but overall, it's about the full body of work. It's just going to get off to a bumpy start. And maybe even if he does play all of this season and misses all of 23, are we going to have that same energy then that, it wasn't worth it no matter what happens in this upcoming season? But I get where you're coming from too. If it's just based on the expectations that's coming up, you're fine. Yes, he at least needs to play in 12. Yeah. But if not, that's why I was being dramatic with my 0. He doesn't have to play one game this year for it to be worth it, because as long as he's their quarterback for the next 4, 5, 6 years, that's all that matters, kind of when it's all said and done. So Dan goes on to say, Kev,
you weren't lying. He wrote a book.
Yeah, he goes, hey, it's Dan. He says, before the Browns made the move, they were a 10-11 win team with Mayfield. Now they may be a 6-7 win team under Brissett. In 2023, the window will start closing as they'll have to fit Watson under the cap, as will the Bengals with Joe Burrow when that time comes, as will the Bills with Josh Allen, as will the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes. No one's feeling, as with the Packers with Aaron Rodgers. That's what you do. You sign players and you figure it out. Now, history tells you that you're not going to win a Super Bowl, all right? But eventually, enough teams are going to get to the point where they all have max signed quarterbacks, and someone has to win a damn Super Bowl. So I get what he's saying, but I think that fans are being a little dramatic here. You're not telling me something I don't know. Saying that Brissett is worse than Deshaun Watson to win this argument, that's not a good point. That's a given. I know that. I know. So you're telling you mean to think that I actually wasn't aware that the Browns would be worse with Brissett at quarterback than Deshaun? Of course I know that. But there's more to then this upcoming season as to why the Browns made the move to get Deshaun Watson.
Trivia question.
Uh-oh. I'll probably get it wrong.
Jacoby Brissett played at a SEC school and an ACC school. Name either of them.
Florida State. Clemson. No. Miami. Just freaking tell me.
He started at Florida, ended at NC State.
Oh, I said Florida. In state. I was half right. 518-1410. Caller, who's this? Is this Nick? Caller, who's this?
This is Nick, Beaver Creek.
Nick in Beaver Creek. You're on live with Kinner and Kev, man. How are you today?
Pretty good, man. I'm on my way home from work.
That is a good thing. You're off work. So, all right, what you got for us?
I'm pretty irritated with the Browns' whole deal with Deshaun Watson. I'm kind of irritated for the entirety of the league and the deal they gave him, because I think, it sets a new standard for quarterbacks who I feel already have overblown salaries and everything else, and now completely guaranteed money thrown in there too. I don't agree with that. But the one thing I was talking to somebody about that I believe what if this season would have been a little bit different and the Bengals not made it out of the first round of the playoffs? Do the Browns still make the same deal for Deshaun Watson? Or did the Bengals go into the Super Bowl? Did that put somebody's foot on their throats and say, we got to do something, we got to do it now?
No, because I think, and I don't know which team you're a fan of. I'm not taking the shot at the Bengals here. Your Bengals. I'm not taking the shot at the Bengals. It's going to come across that way. But I think that the Bengals are taking a little bit too much credit for why the Browns did what they did. Keep in mind, I mean, the Bengals weren't anything when they started bringing in, again, the perception of OBJ is not who he lived up to. I get that. But, I mean, they went big. They went all in to get OBJ. They went all in when they brought over Austin Hooper and made him a top 5 paid tight end in the league. Okay, they went all in when they started bringing guys like, Jadeveon Clowney, and they started going. They bring in obviously Kareem Hunt. They did all those things well before Joe Burrow proved that he could be a star in this league. And I don't think they got Deshaun. I mean, I think that Joe Burrow is one of the guys they looked at and said, well, we got to make sure we have someone to go against him. But I think that this move was made because the entire AFC is stacked. I mean, you had Matt Ryan come over, you had Russell Wilson come over. I mean, you already had Devontae Adams go to the Raiders. So I just think that the whole AFC, they're not reacting to any one particular team. It's just about looking at what has worked. The Bengals show that you need a quarterback with an elite offense to turn your team around quick. That's why the Browns also realized that, okay, look at the Chiefs. That backs that up. Look at the Chargers. That backs that up. You need that high prolific powered offense. And I think that's why they did it. I don't think it was done, oh man, because we're afraid of the Bengals. I think they did it because that's how you have to compete to win in this league right now. Okay. I said it wasn't a shot. If we're going to be soft Bengals fans, I'm just going to stop taking your dang calls. I didn't say anything wrong. What did I say that was wrong?
I don't think he took it the wrong way.
He just seems sad. Okay. He wanted me to say that the Browns fear the Bengals, and that's why they did it. Let me ask you. I'm not saying that of the Browns front office that they didn't once think that, oh, man, the Bengals have Joe Burrow. We got to get Deshaun Watson. No. They would have got Deshaun Watson whether Joe Burrow was in the Super Bowl or not. He brings up a good point, though. Fair. If they lose to the Raiders in that first playoff game, do the Browns go after Deshaun Watson? My answer to answer it just bluntly, yes. Why wouldn't you? It's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I just think that's to say that the Bengals are why the Browns went and got Deshaun Watson is kind of silly.
They went and got Deshaun Watson because it was a mandate from the ownership. This whole thing went down because of the ownership. The owners wanted him. They wanted Deshaun Watson. They wanted an elite level quarterback to be quarterbacking their team because there's several reports out there coming from, reporters talking about Andrew Berry wasn't sold on this. Stefanski wasn't sold on this particular move. But when the owner of the team says, we're doing it, you got to do it. And then yeah, exactly. And when the owner says sweeten the pie to make him come with that guaranteed contract, you do as the ownership says, and now they got their man. And best believe if the Cleveland Browns win a Super Bowl with Deshaun Watson, Jimmy Haslam's going to be the king of that town because obviously LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers winning an NBA championship for the city of Cleveland shook the world up. But being born and raised in Cleveland, that is a football city. So if he's the guy responsible for bringing the Super Bowl championship to Cleveland, he's going to get a road named after him. He's going to get a lot of stuff named after him. It's going to be Jimmy Boulevard up and down that city. It's going to be epic for the Cleveland Browns if they actually pull it off.
So, and keep in mind, the Chiefs are one of the main reasons the Browns have been building their roster the way that they have. And that's not a shot at the Bengals. I'm just saying that the Browns started building this roster well before the Bengals even knew they were going to have Joe Burrow. And what I mean by that is I mean, look at the fact, you look at the secondary that they have. And they continue to add to it. Obviously, they had, they went out. So if you look at last offseason alone, we didn't know Joe Burrow was about to lead the Bengals to a Super Bowl, but they already had
Charlie did.
Charlie don't count. But they had Delpit, they had Ward, they had Harris, they had a lot of these secondary guys, but they already greedy. Then they got greedy and they said, we're going to go get Troy Hill. They're going to go get the two DBs, of course, from the Rams. Johnson was included in that, of course. They just kept, and then they drafted Newsome. That was all done because they said, hey, if we got to have as many secondary weapons to go against the Kansas City Chiefs. that the Browns they were built to beat the Chiefs. Now they haven't beat the Chiefs. The Bengals just beat the Chiefs twice last year. Good. I just wanted to hurry up and get that out before you yelled it at your radio. Yes, they beat the Chiefs, but the Browns knew, hey, we got to be able to score with the highest scoring teams in the league, and that they started building for that before the Bengals came onto the scene last year. So no, I don't think. I think that's very cocky of Bengals fans to think that the Browns were so desperate to beat the Bengals, a team they beat twice last year and 2 times a year before that. That they had to go out and get Deshaun Watson. They got Deshaun Watson because it's a top 5 quarterback, and that's what you do. That's what you do. Even if he doesn't play for the whole first season.
Oh, that part.
Yeah.
I saw reports that another alleged victim came out the other day.
Another one after that special came out on HBO. And, that stuff's going to, I'm not saying it's going to continue, and I'm not downplaying it. It's just we know what the reality is when it comes to what he's involved in. So, and the players have been asked about it too. And I think I saw a quote today from Myles Garrett that, basically just kind of shushing the media on this, saying, okay, enough. I wasn't in that room. You weren't in that room. The only people that know what happened in that room are the 2 people that were there, and him and many people, I guess. We'll get to the 23 now. But Myles Garrett just basically said he's not a judge. He's not going to. He's not, until we know the facts. He's not going to make any, assumptions as far as that's concerned. Right. That's a safe answer. It's what he probably should say. But there is no safe answer, because what the media is going to then say is that these teammates they're basically, enabling it, right? That they're saying it's okay.
They didn't sign him.
This is why it's an ugly situation. Yeah, but it goes back to your point, though. Like, would Andrew Berry have made this? You got to ask yourself, Baker's not that bad of a quarterback that you would have to say, okay, do we really need to put ourselves through this circus right now and deal with everything that comes with this?
You know why? Because Jimmy Haslam doesn't speak to the media.
He doesn't face the media
on a weekly or daily basis. You know who does? The players have to, the coaches have to, and everything like that. It's definitely a sticky situation for everybody involved. So when you make these mandates that we're going to do certain things and we don't speak to you, because let's be clear, nobody really wants to talk to the owner unless you're the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. He's the only owner that we hear from on a daily basis almost during the NFL season. So it's big bucks. It's a big league. Like I said, they got to win a Super Bowl to make all this headache worth it.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio. Kev, I have a question. We've been doing our fill in the blanks here this afternoon, but be thinking about this during the commercial break here as we step away for a few. Speaking of Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. A little fill in the blank coming up on the other side. Which one of those 3 will win an MVP before the other 2? Blank will win an MVP before the other 2. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, or Justin Herbert. Be thinking about that over the next few minutes. We'll be back. More of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash.
Justin, you're awesome, baby.
Right here on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Visit Cincinnati and see for yourself why the Queen City is the birthplace of professional baseball. Catch a Reds game at Great American Ballpark and be sure to explore the Reds Hall of Fame and Museum presented by Dinsmore. Thanks to the HCS Foundation, kids 12 and younger receive free admission into the Hall of Fame, where the whole family can enjoy interactive exhibits and thousands of artifacts from over 150 years of Reds baseball. For details and tickets, visit Reds.com.
KTH Parts Industries has immediate openings for second shift production associates and equipment technicians. KTH promotes from within, offers an attractive benefit package, including medical, dental, 401k, attendance bonus, and a competitive wage, starting at $19 per hour with annual increases and shift differential. KTH will be hosting walk-in interviews Monday through Friday from 7:30 a.m. through 3 p.m. Please bring a resume and photo ID to apply or see other career opportunities at kth.net. KTH is an equal opportunity employer.
Veterans, were you exposed to harmful burn pit smoke while serving overseas? The Department of Veterans Affairs has recognized and is providing benefits to veterans who suffer with asthma, rhinitis, and sinusitis as a result of burn pit exposure. If you served in the Southwest Asia Theater of Operations or Afghanistan, Uzbekistan, Syria, or Djibouti and suffer from any respiratory illnesses that you believe is a result of exposure to burn pits, contact the Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Okay, Cincinnati Reds fans, it's time for Roof Truth's Triple Play from Enterprise Roofing. Roof Truth number 1, your roofer should be as dependable as your roof. Roof Truth number 2, your roofer should be in business for longer than the life of your roof. Roof Truth number 3, your roofer should live where you do. Enterprise Roofing is a proud partner of the Cincinnati Reds. For all of your roofing needs and to try our roof cost calculator, visit rooftruths.com. Let's face it, you all have outdoor home projects to do. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil is here to help as the area's leading provider of processed topsoil, garden mix, animal bedding, and mulch. We cater to the professional landscaper, contractor, and the DIY homeowner. That's you. Buy in bulk, mulch, rock, topsoil, and sand. No matter the size of the project, we can help, and we deliver, often the same day. We also carry firewood, bedding, and fuel pellets. Mad River Mulch and Topsoil, just off I-70 and Route 4 in Springfield. Order online at madrivermulch.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Hey, I'm Andy. If you don't know me, it's probably because I'm not famous. But I did start a men's grooming company called Harry's. The idea for Harry's came out of a frustrating experience I had buying razor blades. Most brands were overpriced, overdesigned, and out of touch. At Harry's, our approach is simple. Here's our secret. We make sharp, durable blades and sell them at honest prices for as low as $2 each. We care about quality so much that we do some crazy things, like buy a world-class German blade factory. Obsessing over every detail means we're confident in offering a 100% quality guarantee. Millions of guys have already made the switch to Harry's, so thank you if you're one of them. And if you're not, we hope you give us a try with this special offer. Get a Harry starter set with a 5-blade razor, weighted handle, shave gel, and a travel cover. All for just $3 plus free shipping. Just go to harrys.com and enter 4455 at checkout. That's harrys.com, code 4455. Enjoy.
Suffering from junk sleep? Mattress Firm can help. Get a king bed for a queen price and save up to $500 off during the best Memorial Day sale ever.
You want more local content from Dayton's ESPN radio station 1410 Wing AM? Make sure you subscribe to the WING 1410 Dayton YouTube channel, where you can watch all your local shows live or go back and rewatch previous episodes of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, the Keith Byers Show, Talking Out Loud with Sully, and more.
All right, welcome back. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash with you here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. Continuing today's theme of fill in the blank, but by the way, excuse me, we will have, starting next Wednesday, ESPN Radio's Freddie Coleman will be a weekly regular guest on the show. He would have popped on with us today, but he was officiating the J. Will, Bart Hahn, and what was the whole deal there? Keyshawn Johnson was there. They were a little 2-on-2 basketball.
Yeah, 2-on-2 basketball game. J. Will and Keyshawn won. I believe it was 11-4.
11-4.
And J. Will scored 10 points.
If me and you played one-on-one, who wins?
You probably win, because I haven't played basketball since the last time we played basketball. When the last time you hooped?
The Harlem Globetrotters.
So that was like 3 years ago?
Yep.
Okay, so we're basically
people
the same.
forget I played for the Harlem Globetrotters.
This is true.
I was an honorary Globetrotter for one day. Scored 4 points. I was 2 of 3. I even had a little ball fake.
Young buckets.
Hesitation dribble, pull up jumper, buckets.
Young buckets.
I'm not skinny now, but I was a lot bigger then. I looked like Butterbean running up and down in them red, white, and blue shorts. I mean, it was a sight to be seen. I didn't think I was going to score. I told you my anxiety was through the roof that day. And I was like, man, I got to go at least warm up before. I can't just go out there in the first shot. I'm like, I got to get there early. So I got there early. The Globetrotters are doing little autograph signings right before. So there was no warming up. It was just coming straight out of the car, going in, and then sitting there just sweating, nervous as hell.
That was your warm up.
Yeah, the video is up on the. I gotta go. Actually, no, it's not up. It's not. I gotta go find that. I'll put that on the old ESPN Dayton YouTube page. But yeah,
you took the worst shot in basketball, the long two.
I mean, 2 points is 2 points.
That's the modern
I even
NBA.
got a little reverse layup in.
Did you?
A little back door. You didn't see that? Yeah.
Look at you.
Yeah.
Little cut to the basket.
I missed my first 3 of the day, though, but my whole goal was hit rim, don't air ball. And that's why my anxiety was through the roof that day, because I'm going to air ball. I talk so much crap all week in typical Kinder form. But I backed it up. That's what I do. I've got through 32 years of life backing up everything I say, except for the Browns making the damn playoffs and winning a Super Bowl. But that was last year, this year. Much different. So we're going to continue the show here with filling in the blank, if you will. And so the question, Kev, is Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert. Blank will win an MVP before the other two. Which of those 3 quarterbacks is going to win an MVP before the other 2 do? Josh Allen had his breakout year 2 seasons ago. And then last year officially proved that it wasn't just a one-hit wonder, that he belonged. And I mean, the overtime rules changed because of Josh Allen. That's how, not getting a chance to see Josh Allen have a chance to come back down the field in one of the best NFL playoff games of all time. Just a crappy way to finish the season with not even have a chance to counter. But nonetheless, Josh Allen, unbelievable. Justin Herbert, I think, actually is a better skilled quarterback than Joe Burrow, but Joe Burrow's it factor has been really what has kind of taken a very talented but not super talented Bengals team over the top. And they obviously couldn't get the job done. That offensive line just not good enough. But maybe it's good enough now. It's obviously improved. Is it good enough now? I don't know if it's good enough now, but it's obviously vastly improved from what it was last year. So these 3 are all set to have ginormous 2022 seasons. There's one quarterback that has to have one, and that's Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert has to prove this year that he's one of the elite quarterbacks in the NFL. He has looked the part the last 2 years, but the Chargers haven't had a full roster to complement that. Injuries kind of hit them last year, but they got Khalil Mack now to go along with Bosa. They see the recipe to success is having a lot of edge rushers and having a lot of rushers in the middle. I mean, they want to put pressure on the opposing quarterbacks to take pressure off of their quarterback. So it's going to be an exciting season coming up. So many young quarterbacks in the NFL trying to prove that they're the face of the league. Is it going to be Joe Burrow? Is it going to be Josh Allen? Is it going to be Justin Herbert? Which one of these 3 will win an MVP first? And will it be this upcoming season?
I'm going to cop out and go with the best quarterback of the bunch, Josh Allen. I'm going to just go with him because I think he's the best one.
Yep.
This season, he's in prime position to do so. Obviously, the extension that they had to Stephon Diggs, Gabriel, who caught 3 or 4 touchdowns in that epic game versus the Chiefs. He's going to have a breakout season and everything like that. They actually started running the ball the second half of the season and not with him. So, that adds a play action effect to the passing game and everything like that. I'm going to roll with Josh Allen. And this year, man, that's tough. Yeah, why not? I've been bold with my predictions today. Buckeyes winning the Natty. Why not? Josh Allen MVP.
I've been impressed.
Josh Allen MVP of the 2022 season. Why not?
So, and that's what's been interesting about that. So I so badly want to say Joe Burrow, but here's the deal. We've talked about that schedule. I think that Joe Burrow is going to struggle. And by the way, hear me out, folks. I don't mean struggle. I mean, I don't think that he is going to light it up as much in the back half. We've talked about how tough that schedule is. So what I mean is there's going to be some losses down the back half that are going to hurt his MVP odds. I think he's going to be in the running, no doubt about it. But Ron brings up a good point. Ron, you haven't irritated me in a while, so shout out to Ron. Ron says he picks Josh Allen because of their division. He thinks Josh Allen will win an MVP before Burrow or Herbert because of the division. And he brings up a great point. The Chargers are going to have 2 to 3 more losses than the Bills because of the division that they play in. The Chargers have to go up against a loaded Raiders team, a loaded Chiefs team, and a loaded Broncos team now with Russell Wilson there. You look at Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow is really, really good, just like Justin Herbert, but very similar to Justin Herbert, Kev. He has to go up against the Steelers. He has to go up against the Ravens. He has to go up against Deshaun Watson and the Browns. You look at the AFC East, and it's not a cakewalk by any means, but you got the Dolphins. I don't fear the Dolphins over any team in the AFC North, and I don't fear the Dolphins over any team in the AFC West.
Right.
Okay. And the Jets, let's just stop right there. And the Patriots, yes, they have Bill Belichick. They're a playoff team a year ago. That's always going to be a coin flip game because it's just they're so well coached, and I don't think they're as talented, but it's the Patriots. But to me, I think that there is less opportunity for the Bills to slip up than the Bengals and the Chargers, who just have to be on their A game every single week. They literally, their opponents that they face, they're not. Joe Burrow can't have a bad week.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen's going to have he could have a bad week or two against the Jets and the Dolphins, and maybe an average week against the Patriots, which, speaking of the Patriots, look what he did to them in the blizzard that was the playoff game last year. So I say that I agree with Ron. I think that Josh Allen and yourself, I think Josh Allen is the best of the three. Joe Burrow, I think voters are going to want to vote him MVP, but I think that the tough division is going to prevent that from happening, as will the West. But to be fair, those divisions could be all the more reason why he would get the nod to win MVP.
I was just about to say that.
So I think it could work for or against them, but I do think that I'm going to have to roll with Josh Allen as being the favorite to win an MVP before either of the other two. And let's be clear, that doesn't make the other two QBs bums. They're all right. They're all really damn good. So we're not poo-pooing on any of the other two. It's just there's a lot of factors to consider, and that's why I also picked Josh Allen as far as that's concerned.
Josh Allen got a lot of talent around him this year, too. Like, they're going all in for this, obviously with them losing their OC and everything like that. But, they'll plug and play. He's been in this offense basically since he's been with Buffalo. So this isn't a situation where he's learning a new offense or anything like that. Now he is the offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we say that before, he was an offense because he was responsible for throwing the ball and running the ball. Now with them trying to establish a run game with the running backs and everything like that, that's going to open things up for him to be far more efficient and everything like that. So I got him winning out of those three for sure.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Fill in the blank. Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, live on Facebook. Fill in the blank in the comment section. We'll read your responses. Ronna Howard says Josh Allen because of the division, which I do agree with. I think the tougher divisions are going to make it more difficult for Burrow or Herbert to win it, but at the same time, that could be what makes it more impressive as far as that goes. So I definitely see where people are coming from there. Keith Tolliver messages into the show, Kev. He says, so scenario, Watson out for a year. And by the way, there is no reports out there that Watson's going to be out for a year. I just think that we're all becoming very uncomfortable each and every day. I thought, Kev, and this might be a bad thing. I don't know. I don't know if it makes me sad, but I think this is the mindset of a lot. I thought once the Browns signed Deshaun, it would feel icky for a while. And then once the season would go, you just Deshaun the quarterback. It's not. It's still feeling very weird. In fact, the more I watch when he's smiling on and he's doing nothing wrong, I get that. But the more I watch the team just act like nothing's going on.
Yeah.
The more I watch and hear the players defend it and say it's no big deal. The way he's so confident in going up against this that it's hard to feel like. So I don't know how you approach this. Are you supposed to sit there and look sad at all times and just say, guys, I didn't do it. I'm fighting against it. I promise I'm going to come out on the other side. Or do you just kill him with confidence and just sit here and smile and almost laugh in the faces of the accusers? It's honestly, it's making me uncomfortable. And I think that's why I think it's making a lot of people uncomfortable, and not just the hater. By the way, Kev, there are people that will not give him the benefit of the doubt at all, just strictly because he's the Browns quarterback. And that's the world that some people live in. But I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, and every day is just more and more icky, and especially after the news that came out yesterday that another accuser's coming forward. I get it. I don't think all 23 are telling the truth, but there's no way all 23 are telling a lie, and that's why I'm having a hard time really kind of grasping this and knowing how to navigate it. So it's tough.
For me, I look at it, I like people to be even keeled. I like people to be the same person all the time. We kind of talked about this like during the football season, where I was talking about how Coach Tomlin is the same. Like, he's that same dude when they're winning.
He's looking around.
When they're winning, he's intense. When they're losing, he's intense. Like, it never changes. So it doesn't kind of fluctuate and everything like that. From the jump, Deshaun has said, I didn't do this, and he's been waiting for his day in court. Now, he's had 2 dates in court, but these are civil trials. These are 2 totally different situations. He won't be going to jail for these. The only thing he will be doing is coming out of pocket and being suspended from the NFL. Like, the whole jail stuff is basically off the table unless another shoe drops out of nowhere.
Like cold hard evidence.
Yeah. So those have been dismissed by 2 courts and everything like that. So if I'm him and if I'm a fan of the Browns, I'm thinking to myself, like, well, he's been steadfast that he didn't do it. He's been eager to get to court. They went to court. They said they didn't have enough evidence. Went to another court, said they didn't have enough evidence. So if I'm looking at it from that aspect, this is exactly what I would want, because at this point, like, what do you want him to do?
Yep.
What do you want him to do? Just cower and hide and not talk to the reporters? I mean, you kind of got to stand on what you've been talking about this whole 2 years, year and a half.
If you do, damned if you don't. And that's the problem. Like, that's why I'm saying too. Is he doing anything wrong? Technically not, but it's not it's the court of public perception that he's guilty in right now.
Yeah.
And sometimes that could be more damning than an actual courtroom. So that's what's unfortunate about that moving forward. And we may never know what actually happened.
Oh, no.
Same thing with the Kobe stories from back in the issue from back in the day, the Big Ben stuff from back in the day. We may never know what actually happened. Court of public perception is all that matters. And right now that court's pretty heated as far as that's concerned. But I never finished Keith's scenario. It just got me into another rant. But he said, so scenario, let's say Watson's out for a year. Do the Browns play Baker, or is it Brissett no matter what? I don't think there is no Baker anymore. I don't think there's a relationship there at all to go back to. But let me ask you, just because I am curious, is there? By the way, Deshaun, I don't think is getting suspended this year. I'm still confident in that. It's just feeling weird trying to get excited about him as the quarterback. I get excited about the prospect of him as quarterback because of what he could bring to the table from a skill set standpoint. But let's just say he's out for a year. The Browns, and they haven't traded Baker yet. What the hell do you do? Who approaches whom?
You tell me, because I have no idea. Like, you want to talk about crazy? It'll get even crazier if the Browns, because they would be the ones that be calling him, say, hey, why don't you come to camp?
And he'll be like, I'll come to camp. Just send me to a team so I can go to their camp.
Right. Like,
and there you go.
Cut me so I can go to where I want to go, because I don't want to come back there.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash here on 1410 ESPN Radio every Monday or Wednesday on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. We bring to Keith the Lee's Famous Recipe 5 bucket of questions and a lot of interesting stuff. We talked with Keith today and said if I went through Keith Byers' phone, who's the most famous contact he has in his phone? Keep in mind, Kev, his idea of famous and our idea of famous are two different. I said like Eddie George and Jerome Bettis and guys like that. He's like, oh, that's just Eddie. That's just Jerome. That's just Archie Griffin. That's just Urban Meyer. That's just Charles Barkley. He didn't list any of them. You'll be surprised to find out who he has as the most famous person he has in his cell phone as part of the Lee's Bucket of Questions coming up. Talked about John Madden, of course, being announced as the face of the cover of the upcoming NFL Madden game being released, which is pretty cool. And we talked voluntary OTAs. Did you know? I learned something that it was Buddy Ryan and Keith Byers Eagles that they were the first ones to ever create OTAs, voluntary OTAs. And it was done to counter something else that included, the training camp later on in the season, of course. And it was kind of a happy medium. It was a way Buddy Ryan was able to compromise with his team. So very good stuff from Byers coming up on the other side of this. So it's the Lee's Bucket of Questions as we kick off the 5 o'clock hour. We'll be back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. We'll be back in a moment.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Presented by Brad Mays with Home Experts Realty. Weekdays at 3 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Perfect air with a personal touch. Get up to $1,000 in rebates on a new Linux system or make no payments for 6 months when you finance a new Linux system for as little as $132 a month. Call William Brockman & Sons Heating and Air Conditioning at 937-222-8638 today to learn more or visit online at DaytonHeatingandCooling.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. License number Ohio license number 14911.
This is Matt Crowder live at the gas station on 41st Street reporting on those skyrocketing gas prices. Excuse me, miss, are you buying less gas now because of the high prices?
Oh, I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute, are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
Well, does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow. Well, there you have it. Stop paying full price for gas. Download the free Upside app and get real cash back every time you buy gas. This is Matt Crowder Radio News Network. Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PATH for a $5 bonus on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, to PayPal, or any gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PATH for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code PATH.
Don't miss the Hot Tub and Swim Spa Blowout Tent Sale this weekend only at the mall at Fairfield Commons. Browse a huge outdoor display of hot tubs and swim spas from major brands at up to 50% off. See swim spas in action offering exercise, fun, and therapy all year long. Visit hottubshow.com or call 800-SPA-SALE.
Ready to make your family meal famous? Just stop by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken for the 16-piece family meal at a great price. You'll get 16 pieces of our classic Famous Recipe Chicken that's fresh, never frozen. It's honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and pressure-cooked to perfection, along with 4 of our large sides and 8 fluffy biscuits. This is the family meal upgraded. Get the meal with the most when you try our 16-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's. Famous for chicken.
But let's get to the questions.
All right, each and every Monday or Wednesday on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. 5 questions. We get a lot of questions that are sent in from you, the Keith Byers fans, the Keith Byers Show listeners, of course, and we pick what we deem to be the 5 best ones. No, there's no such thing as a bad question. There's just better questions than others, if you will. So, first question, Keith, as we close out the show this afternoon, but it was announced today that John Madden will be on the cover of this year's NFL Madden video game.
I love it.
Which is very fitting, absolutely. But when you played in the 90s, did you ever sprint to the store to buy the latest NFL game to play as yourself? Do NFL players, do they care much about playing as themselves? Was that a big deal to you back in the 90s when you played, of going to the store to get a video game so you could play as yourself?
Well, first off, video games were new at that time. It was a new era of video games, and it felt great to, to play as myself. There was, I don't necessarily call it a war, but Nintendo was a champion at that time, and they had a football game, Tecmo Bowl, and depends on what kind of season you had the previous year. It was equated to how much juice they were going to put into your character, and sometimes if you didn't make enough plays, now the whole roster's on there. We didn't have the whole roster on those games, so you had to be a starter, to make the team, or maybe a key backup. So I was pretty good on Tecmo Bowl. I loved playing with myself, and that didn't really sound right, but nevertheless, I did love my character.
You're wrong. I didn't even think that.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. But with the Eagles teams, Randall Cunningham and Reggie White, they were, the stalwarts on our team. You played the Giants, Lawrence Taylor, you couldn't block him. You played the Raiders, Bo Jackson, you one guy just, couldn't make the tackle. So it was a lot of fun, to be able to do that. And, every once in a while, somebody, man, come up to me in the street, Keith, I used to play Tecmo Bowl. I used to like your player. He used to catch everything. He'd get the ball close, you can catch it. I'm like, oh, man, appreciate it. So that was neat. That's neat. So kudos, shout out for the Madden team using John Madden, to put him on the cover. And I think Madden's picture should be on the cover every year, even not just his going to be the sole picture, but every year put, going forward, put a little small corner. And I know it's his game, but put his picture on there as well as whoever the NFL player they deem in the future going forward to share the cover with John Madden.
Yeah, and it's players today. It's like when the NFL game comes out, they start releasing the player, what your ranking,
your points
is,
and all that's your foul rating. Yeah,
it becomes a thing. Players get angry. Some are like, he shouldn't be rated that high. I mean, it's a legitimate talking.
We had that same thing back in the day. Like, oh man, they don't think you're that good. Look how they got your player. Your guy, he can't cover nobody. Look how slow he is.
Question number 2, Keith, and this is a big, talking point right now because, with voluntary, and I say voluntary.
Yes.
Voluntary OTAs are going on right now, but I don't know about you, but if my boss at work says, hey, it's a Friday, it's voluntary, but the doors will be open on Saturday if you want to come into work. It's voluntary. Well, I promise you, Keith, my ass ain't coming into work on a voluntary day.
So that means you ain't going to get paid either.
Yeah, but then you don't show up to voluntary work, of course. You're not. I wouldn't expect that I would be criticized for that, but I guess sports is a little different. The talking points on all the talking shows, of course, aren't about the players that are showing up to voluntary OTAs. It's the players who aren't showing up, the Lamar Jacksons, the Kyler Murrays, the Jesse Bates, and there's some guys out there who aren't showing up just because it is voluntary. Others are in contract disputes. Of course, there's various reasons why. But do you believe that players should be criticized, or do you believe it's fair, I should say, to criticize players for skipping voluntary OTAs?
No.
And did you ever skip voluntary?
No, I never skipped voluntary OTAs because believe it or not, the genesis and the roots of voluntary OTA started with my generation and my team specifically, the Philadelphia Eagles, and give Buddy Ryan credit for that. Back in those days, training camp was 6 weeks. That meant the whole 4 weeks of 4 weeks of August and 2 weeks of July was training camp. So that's 6 weeks. Now it's like a month, if that, 3 weeks. So training camp was a lot longer. So Buddy Ryan said, "You guys hate going to training camp. I love training camp, so I would meet somewhere in the middle." So he came up with volunteer, which is OTA, volunteer, organized team activities. We just call it volunteer camp. And that meant whenever our first preseason game is usually the first week of August. So say, for example, if it was August the 5th, we didn't have to be at training camp until 8 days before the first training game, for the first preseason game. It'd be like between 8 and 10 days before the first preseason game is when we actually went to Westchester, Pennsylvania for our training camp location. So we were the last team to report for training camp. And everybody like, "Man, that's cool. Y'all the last team to report." I said, "No, actually, we're the first team to report." "What do you mean?" Because we start, everybody else starts in middle of July 16th to 19th to 20th, one of those days. Buddy Ryan would have us voluntarily come back to Philadelphia the Monday after 4th of July. So whatever day 4th of July ran on, that following Monday, we had to be back in Philadelphia for Monday through Friday workouts up until for the next 3 weeks or so before we would report to Westchester. And it was not it was voluntary in name only. So we were voluntold to be here the Monday after the 4th of July. So if the 4th of July was on a Saturday, Monday you had to be there. And what we would do in those volunteer workouts, it was like 4 hours. So we'd be in meetings from like 9 to 11. And then we were on the field from 11:30 to 1:30. And then you go home. So that was it. Then you had to lift weights, but get in early before 9 o'clock meetings, lift your weights, or stay after 1:30 and lift weights then. But we're going to come in here, do classroom work. So once we get to training camp, we don't have to waste time putting in the offense and seeing if these rookies are up to speed. We're teaching you slow now, before training camp started. So it was volunteer camp that we had. So yes, so guys didn't skip it. Even if you was holding out for a contract, well, we don't have to be here. So be here now, especially you as a rookie. be here now while they're still negotiating your contract. So once we do go to training camp, you don't have to be there. So you're not all the way behind the curve.
That's fair.
So, when it started after my rookie year. So when Jerome Brown and Keith Jackson were rookies, still trying to negotiate their contract, they could be there for volunteer workouts. And then they get signed maybe the second week of training camp. You don't have to catch them up because they already had some learning. It's just physical now to get them caught up to speed, and then boom, we're ready to go. So everybody copycatted that off the Philadelphia Eagles of the 80s. So that's where the volunteer, and they just kind of expanded and changed the name. OTA, Organized Team Activity, instead of calling it volunteer. So it's voluntary OTAs. So we would have, no, it's a little wordy answer to this question. So our mini camp would be right after the draft in April, early May. And then then we're gone. We don't have to come back until July. So we had that kind of vacation time, the month of May and June, to do whatever you want. Go out, but that's, you got better work out and stay in shape. We're going to do that anyway. So when we come back that Monday after the 4th of July, we're hitting the ground running and all the way until January. Whereas other teams didn't come on until later in July. So it was a good formula. I bucked at the beginning of it, but I saw all the good things that we were getting out of it. We was getting better as a team. And it just made my 4th of July just a little sadder because, my summer is over with. Well, the other guys still had another 2.5, 3 weeks of summer. My summer was over by 4th of July because now it's time to go to work and get it in and sweat in those hot days of Westchester, Pennsylvania.
All right, next question, Keith. Again, if you're just tuning in, it is the Keith Byers Show presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Every Monday or Wednesday during the show, we do what is called the Lee's Bucket of Questions. 5 questions that are sent in from you, the fans. And the third question on deck, Keith, is if I went through your phone right now,
right,
who's the most famous person you have in your phone, the most famous contact you have in your phone? Who would you consider that to be?
Oh, that's a tough question.
And you got to prove it. I'm just
exactly. Call it right now. Get them live on the radio. It's funny you asked that question because a couple of years ago on a Buckeye Cruise for Cancer, that question came up, and we were doing some game called Survivor, and we had 2 minutes to get the most famous person on your phone on the line, not just, hey, look whose number I got. No, they have to answer. So I'm still going to go with that answer, that person I said. And famous is in the eye of the beholder, And
your
so
idea
for me,
famous and mine are probably
it depends. So for me, it's Angela Bassett.
Okay.
Angela Bassett was the most famous person that helped win that. You may have some other phone numbers. You might say, oh, so-and-so is more famous than her. But I don't know. So Angela Bassett, Tina Turner, what's love got to do with it? How Stella got her groove back. She was the mother in Black Panther. You name it. She's on 9/11, 911, one of the show right now. So Angela Bassett, she's the most famous person. And I say I have a problem calling her the most famous person because we're just friends. I don't ever say she's my friend. Lawrence Taylor, that's famous to somebody else.
Yeah, if me and you walk into a room together with famous people, there's a big difference between your fanboy and my fanboy. And because to you, they're just normal. To me, I'm like, holy crap, that's so and so.
Yeah, Charles Barkley. I still have Barkley. I think I got Barkley's number in my phone.
Pippen, MJ. You got Dan Marino,
Ron Harper. So Dan Marino. It depends on who you. Bill Parcells.
For damn sure. I'd say that. Well, when people ask me that, Keith, it's you and Marty Brenneman. You and Marty Brenneman in there. I believe Eddie George is in there too, but I don't think he knows who the hell I am.
Okay, see, Eddie.
Yeah, but
Archie Griffin.
There you go.
That's what my wife, she thought I was going to say Archie Griffin at that deal. She said, "Well, it's either him or Dr. J." That's what he's going to say.
And those were names.
Those are all winners. I was like, those are winner names.
All right, we have 4 minutes here, but
Charles Barkley. I'm looking at my phone right now. Charles Barkley.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know that comedian Ari Spears?
Sure.
One of the bit I did on the show one time. He does a really funny Shaquille O'Neal impersonation, Charles Barkley. But Ari Spears was in town at the Funny Bone, so he came in studio, and I said, hey, I kind of want to do a work on the show as I'm going to promote that Charles Barkley is going to be in studio, and I need you to be Charles Barkley. So the bit was Charles comes in, and I'm just rude as hell to Charles Barkley. Like, you're one of my least favorite players. They're making me interview you, all this. So he's calling me, little Porky the Pig. He's calling me names. As Charles
in the Charles Barkley voice.
Friends are texting me, you finally have a cool ass guest on your show, and you were just doing nothing but ripping Charles Barkley. Like, and then listeners were emailing our GM at the time to fire me because how unprofessional I was. And
he's never gonna come on the show again.
And then we went to commercial break, and when we came back, I said, well, by the way, this is Aries Spears. By the way, he's gonna be live at the Funny Bone tonight. Killer impersonation. So it was one of my favorite bits that we did, but it worked. People thought it was literally, pretty cool.
I wish I'd heard that.
Yeah. Question number 4: what defensive position would you have played in the NFL if you're Ohio State or NFL coach who said, Keith, you're no longer going to play on the offensive side of the ball, but you could pick any position on the defensive side of the ball? What's that position you would have loved to play?
Oh, that's a good question. Either two positions. It was outside linebacker, Lawrence Taylor, Carl Banks, Ricky Jackson, that type, or David Fulcher. I would have played some strong safety.
Okay.
Come up, run with wide receivers and tight ends and smack the snot out of running backs, and wide receivers, So either one of those two. You say I did not say cornerback. I'm not going to say corner. Not going to be a defensive lineman. They want to be down in those trenches, and I don't want to do that. One is where I can stand up and
Pepper
see.
Johnson can attest to what you can do when you got some momentum on your side. By the way, that's
oh yeah.
Last one on the way out, Keith. Again with the NBA Finals set. The Warriors and the Celtics. Pretty cool finals matchup, of course, a team that's not on its way out necessarily, but an older, more experienced team that's closer to the end than they are in their prime, and then the up-and-coming Boston Celtics, a really cool dynamic. The finals matchup I wanted this year, I would have loved to see LeBron and AD and Westbrook, a healthy Lakers team, going up against the Nets with Kevin Durant and James Harden at the time, and, of course, Kyrie Irving. That would have been that would have been star power galore in that finals matchup. That never happened. But what finals matchup, thinking back to your time as an NBA fan, what's that one finals matchup that you never got that you really wanted? And I don't mean like LeBron versus MJ. I mean like that we missed that actually could have happened. For instance, like LeBron versus Kobe, the Lakers versus the Cavs in the NBA finals back when Kobe and LeBron were in the league together. What's that one matchup that you're like, man, we really missed out on that you would have loved to have seen?
I would say I was spoiled because I saw a lot of the great matchups I wanted to see. But in retrospect, I would have loved this if Michael didn't retire. I would love to see them go against the Houston Rockets with Akeem Olajuwon, because Akeem gets to say, "I won my championships, Barkley and Malone. Why didn't you guys get yours?" And then Barkley and Malone could be "We got room on this boat going to Cancun because you didn't have to play against Michael. You got yours when Michael retired. When Michael came back, y'all didn't win none."
Asterisk title.
Yeah, exactly. But it counts. So I would have loved to see the Houston Rockets, get their medicine. And I was, Rocket fan, loved Akeem Olajuwon. But they would have threw those 18 fouls at him, just like they did Patrick Ewing and Barkley, and Michael Jordan was going to get it done. So that's what I would have loved to see. And then Tim Duncan would have got his medicine also from Jordan, but it would have been old Jordan, but he would have gave him his medicine too. And but it's great. I mean, that's why I love it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the finals this week. Coming up starting tomorrow between the Boston Celtics, and the Golden State Warriors. The Boston Celtics is one of the most, between them and the Lakers, the most decorated franchise in NBA history. Can they get another one? Or will Golden State try to move into the Bull era and say, hey, we y'all got 6, we're at 5. We're coming up on that next era of great franchises. But it's all great. It's all good. But listen, guys, I really, really appreciate all the questions, the Lee's Famous Recipe Bucket of questions.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a